girlfriend over for like a sleepover, and they gave her bacon for breakfast. And then in the morning, my mom was like, "Wait, you're not supposed to have bacon."
I'm fine.
You don't want any? Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dream could not be created. Thank you for that.
Brian,
We got last time.
bacon bits on your potatoes?
Yes, please.
All right. This is the part where I usually start screaming at my computer, "What do you want from me?"
It says the camera is working now, even though
I'll go help in a second. Or I'll just leave it alone.
it says we're live, but the in-browser says the stream could not be created.
Through Firefox and Safari?
Well, we're in Firefox. We got farther than we did last time.
Okay.
So there, the
I'll
chat.
tell you what is that the stream is not happening.
What did you say?
It isn't currently streaming anything.
Interesting. Okay.
I wonder if it's streaming audio. I doubt it.
Hello?
The chat's going.
But there is no stream, and there's no audio.
Oh.
Right. There's no audio.
Okay. There's video, but no audio.
I have no idea. It was a question.
Oh, okay. I'm attempting to look at it on my phone.
I don't hear audio. I have my volume turned all the way up.
All right. So, but do we have video?
No.
So we have.
We just have a blank screen that says content.
Oh.
Excellent.
Attempting to go live. We have some data. that
Holy
says
shit.
Live.
I got video.
You have video?
I have video. Something's happened. Well, I'm not in the picture. Because you're not sitting at the table. I'm just. It takes a while, Jim.
It does?
What do you think this is? 2024 where the internet's instant?
Oh, come on. I figured you already had an Image Orthicon camera.
Oh, for fuck's sake. No one even knows what that means. How old are
The
you?
next thing is to see if we have audio.
I mean, we have audio. It's just me grilling Jim. All right.
You did it!
It only took 2 hours, and the actual answer was just turn the computer off, turn it back on again.
Now, am I
That
allowed to
sucked.
go over there and straighten your camera?
Yes, you may go
'Cause we
over.
have like the Dutch angle going on.
Feel free to fuck with the tripod, just don't drop the camera.
Don't drop the camera. All right.
Need more wine.
Lachame, as they say in Bryn Mawr.
I don't think that's how you pronounce that.
They do in Bryn Mawr. In Bryn Mawr for Black History Month, they celebrate Malcolm X.
Oh. Oh.
I mean,
Welcome to dinner at Jim's house. Dinner is already over. I attempted to make the stream work the entire. Welcome to dinner at Jim's house. Dinner is already over. I attempted to make the stream work the entire time, but you're here with us now. Kurt is about to fix the camera. Kurt will also read the chat because he has a laptop. Kurt is now looking at the ancient tripod, trying to figure out how it works. Also, each of those legs are droopy.
I love a good droopy leg.
well, it is
Yeah.
old.
Let's move the tabletop microphone a little bit toward the edge. Let's move it physically closer to you.
How's this?
Yeah, you and Kurt will share a mic.
Oh, good, like
And-
Steve and Edie.
Yeah,
I have the droopy one.
yeah, and that's the droopy microphone. Really, what I should get is just 2 more of those, and then we'll be good. There-
This looks good.
Awesome. You're also free because it's a video camera to zoom in and out if you want, or pan left and right. So thank you to everybody who's been watching the live streams. I guess I've been spoiled for such a long time with my phone, and I have that thing on. I think I have the Canon XA60 on manual, so iris and everything. I just made everything bright because I forgot the studio lights and the tripod. But honestly, it's probably for the best because
That's good enough for the girls I go out with.
nice. Because
Also here because Jim's torso blocks all of my existence if I don't.
Well, would you like me to sit there so that you have an unimpeded torso?
No, please. My torso's not worth looking
Kurt just said my torso is not worth looking at. So,
Several dozen would disagree with you.
so our guest today is Jim Schulman, Kurt, and Corey Walton, my old roommate from college, and also has been on the show multiple times. Kurt will occasionally, if you see questions come in, just rattle them off. And if you see super chats come in, they of course paid to get to the front of the line. Disney Fast Pass.
Strawberries?
Strawberries?
Yeah, I'll get to the strawberries.
Yeah, because
What is that? Is that
This?
we
Yeah.
have beer in the fridge.
Oh, you got
This
it.
is the last one, and
Aw.
I took it because it said sweet and it said red, and I don't, yeah.
But Brian, we got a ton of beer left over
Oh
from
my goodness.
Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
John and I are not big beer drinkers, so
Yeah.
Do you want to sit in this chair and then we can share the microphone closer?
I think that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Because I just realized then everyone can see all of us because
Yeah.
it's kind of off kilter.
Mm-hmm.
Bring the microphone
Closer.
Oh, and I have it backwards. Lovely me.
I have it. Oh, it's turned around.
You can
I
spin
can
it.
fix it.
Yeah.
I can fix it.
Where's the
point of entry?
where the tape is
What
on the
it
microphone.
Oh, the tape. on
So
the
you got to
microphone.
loosen the bottom and spin it around
Oh,
and
so
tighten
this
it
is
again.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is fine.
Good. You don't have a tight bottom.
So
Where the tape is.
I was talking to my friend's brother who lives over in I shouldn't say where he lives because of
Whoa.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa. Oh, somebody paid.
Oh my god! Somebody paid $2.79 just to say Disney Fast Pass to the Jim Lazy River, please. You don't want to be in the Jim Lazy River.
What's the Jim Lazy
The
River?
last time someone tried to ride the Jim Lazy River was a $400 plumber bill.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's when.
You and your terracotta water main.
Well, my terracotta water main is what happens when you have two sizable bipeds who decide that they're going to evacuate with a lot of paper simultaneously.
So my brother is going to give my parents, who aren't watching this, so it's fine. My brother is going to give my parents a bidet for Christmas.
I love my bidet.
Bidets rule. I don't know if my parents will use it.
I got my mom one.
Yeah,
Just like kind of because I thought it was funny,
yeah,
and she loves it.
yeah.
Like, she set it up and she's like, "I love this thing." I'm like, it was a joke, and she's like, "I love this thing."
Awesome.
Okay, great.
Okay, so
She called me when it broke. She's like, "Please, I need you. I need you to fix this." She's like-
okay, so
she
maybe
had,
they
like, the
will.
shakes. She was like, "I need my bidet."
Oh,
It's like
dude.
an imminent poop, and she's like, I need this now.
Yeah.
Tell it's like the fountain inside of Boscov's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. God, I miss the fountains in the now destroyed Schuylkill Mall. There were fountains that had tears in them. There were
Mhm.
terraced fountains with little waterfalls. And there's this old video on YouTube. If you find it, it's like guy jumps in fountain at the Schuylkill Mall, and it's ancient YouTube. It's like shot with a potato, and it's just this kid who runs into the mall just with swimming trunks on, and just does like the sit jump, just like
Ugh.
just jumps in because the fountain's like 2 feet deep.
Mhm.
So he just has to jump in a way where he just lands on his butt on the bottom and he just whoops, splash. But then he gets up and has to run away from the one mall cop.
What is the incentive where people like I understand the wishing well, like people who just throw money into, but I feel like people throw money into everything, like just coins, loose change.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, was there money in the bottom of this?
Yeah, probably. There probably would have been some
Like,
coins.
why?
Because
But why?
people say, oh, it's a fountain. It's like a wishing well. I'll throw my change in.
Right, but
Hmm.
You're asking to apply rational thinking to a fountain at a
Right.
mall.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
it just pollutes it.
To a fountain in a
just
mall
gross.
in Pennsylvania.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Now, remember the case where they had what was it, a lady who fell in?
Yes, that was in the Berkshire Mall.
Mhm.
I used to work in that mall, and I know exactly which. Okay, so there were 2 fountains on either side of the mall, and these were These were low fountains. They had sort of like a parapet around them, and people would often sit on the edge. Just sit. If the benches were full, you could just sit on the edge of it. You could stick your hand in it. It only came up to like mid shin. That's as far as it. But then there was like a bigger part, and like it was like a really shallow lake, and then there would be a built up larger island in the middle that had a fountain that shot up traditional style. And the lady who fell in while texting, that wasn't in front of my store. There was a camera store there. It was on the other side, not by the Boscovs, I think by the Kmart. And it was just the one guy who didn't film the security camera. Oh, it looks like we got an ad going on.
I do because I don't pay.
Neither do I.
I pay, so I don't have an ad going on.
Are you
Well,
serious?
thank you.
Yeah, it's the only streaming service I'll pay for is like YouTube Premium.
Well, thank you. I do get a cut of that.
Oh, that's good. Well, I do pay
All right. I give
Yeah,
you ad money.
because it's the one I use the most. Okay, I do have Amazon, but I have Amazon because I just have Prime and I like buy stuff from
Right.
them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I YouTube Premium. I don't do like Netflix. I don't do Hulu. I just do YouTube Premium because it's like I consume it the most on a regular basis. And their ads have gotten so abhorrently long, which I know was the
Yes.
whole plan. Like I know that
Yes.
that was the scheme.
Yes.
Mhm.
We will
Was to like
degrade
make the
service.
ads
Yes.
literally awful, so
Yes.
that you're like, I have to pay $19 a month for this
It's
bullshit.
19.
I think so. It's like 18. It's something absurd. But it's fine.
Oh.
Oh,
I don't
I
get it.
have
I don't
one.
get it on desktop. Chrome with Ad Block Plus, it blocks it
it doesn't. Okay, yeah, it doesn't
on a desktop.
on
you
a
know,
desktop. Yeah, that's
not
fair.
on their TV.
I run Firefox on all my computers, like desktop, phone, this
Mhm.
thing, and there I have ad block on it too, and it gets pretty close. But then, of course, like older people will send me like New York Times articles or like Philadelphia Inquirer articles,
Yeah.
and then it gets mad at me because I have ad blocker
Oh.
turned
Yep.
on, and it's like
Yeah,
you can't.
yeah,
The
yeah.
website's not supported. I'm like, I don't care.
I don't
If I
care.
wanted to support you, I'd buy a newspaper to stand, but I don't.
Did your grandparents ever cut out newspaper articles
I still
and
get them.
mail them to you?
I still
Yes.
get them.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
I still
so
get them.
yes,
Yeah.
comma, asterisk. I got cutouts from. There was this, and I cannot remember the name of this magazine subscription, but there were these tiny magazines, like Christian magazines, that were like full of like devotionals and Bible verses and stuff. And it's like, here's what different preachers around the world have to think about Jesus.
Yeah.
And so my aunt would find one that she felt like was like particularly compelling,
Yeah.
and she would send it to me in the mail. She would like clip it out and mail it to me.
Amazing.
That's wholesome.
It's
That's wholesome.
definitely something.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah, later
Maybe.
in life, at some point in time in my life, like I was like 15 or
Yeah.
16, she took me out to dinner at a Red Robin
Okay.
Ooh.
in Scottsdale, Arizona, and she sat me down at the table and she like started crying like 2 bites into the meal, and she goes, "I just feel," she said, "God has put in my heart that I need to voice to you that I feel like that you're at a vulnerable stage in life for the devil to convince you that you might be gay."
Oh.
And it was
No!
at that point, at like the age of 16, that I was
Bad
like,
news.
I can no longer talk to this person who practically raised me about like any of my life
correct.
ever again.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
So I'm like, well,
Well,
there was that. That ship has sailed.
yep.
I think she's gotten a little more down low, or not down low, but I think she's gotten a little more relaxed like recently. But then
Yeah.
it was definitely rough. It was an interesting
Well,
period.
the gay agenda is taking.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think of the devil forcing you to do it. You know,
And
with
this-
Geraldine, with Flip Wilson doing Geraldine.
Yeah. Well, and the craziest thing about it too is that if she was like she's totally would be a gay icon if she wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Like this woman,
Is she like fabulous? Like,
she's been single her entire life,
oh,
like never married.
Does she
didn't even
shave
really
off her
date.
eyebrows and paint them back and draw them back? Okay.
No, but this is the woman who's worked HR forever and has
Is that-
owned like 8 beige
that a-
Camrys in a row.
Oh,
Like she
okay.
buys beige Camrys on purpose, but she only buys the top trim. It's an XLE V6.
Mm.
All of them are XLE V6s. She wants every option possible, but a Camry. Not,
Yeah. Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
not willing to pay for more than a Camry.
Yeah.
But it's beige on beige V6 leather.
ooh,
She has like 6 sets of plates, like flatware, that she interchanges with the seasons, and they match everything in the house.
Ooh.
So like the curtains, the
Ooh.
throw pillows, the blankets, the towels in the bathroom, the dishes in the kitchen
I also love
all
TJ Maxx.
match, and she changes them every 2 months. So the whole house is like
This
she's
was the
total.
thing though. Like this
I know,
is-
but, like,
yeah.
Is this
That's-
cereal
You were
mom?
expected
Yes,
to.
but like this woman raised me,
Huh.
and she has the audacity to go, "I think you might be gay." Yeah, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Like you did this to
Do you
me.
know those?
Like you coordinating your towels and throw pillows and dishes is the reason I am the way that I am.
Do you know those pots that are quite large and they just have sticks in them?
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
What?
Nope.
My house is too big, and I just need a physical object
need
to,
to
Yeah.
to be
occupy
here.
Yes, it,
Yeah.
it directs your attention.
To
Mm.
what? Like it's just
It's
you have
called
Christmas lights on.
no, it's called the decorator who wants to make another $400.
Mm.
Whoa.
I'll get a big pot and some shit in it, and I'll call it visual
Wow.
center.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm a big
Do
fan.
you have too much space in your house?
Yeah. Do you feel like
Do you
there's
just-
just? Do you not know what shit to put on your countertop?
What's
Oh,
a
you
super
got a
chat?
thing.
What's it say?
The super chat? That's the same one that we already.
No,
read.
it doesn't. It says Evan P gave you $2 and says relax and enjoy the conversation, big dog at Jubersumtn.
Oh,
Okay.
shit. The chat has been moving on without me, and I can't scroll.
Sorry,
Back
I'm
up.
on it now.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
really
Corey's
say.
on it.
Yeah.
Corey's fucking locked in.
Well, it's blue.
Can I say
Yeah.
that on this channel?
What's that?
Can I say that on this channel?
Say what?
Profanities.
Dick balls, big pussy. I'm talking about zero
Huge
resistance.
pussy. Oh, Tony.
Yeah,
Irwin
this is a-
says evening, y'all.
Oh,
That's-
Tony's
no.
there.
Hi, Tony.
Sorry, I superimposed the y'all onto him. That's my fault. I apologize for making you sound sorry.
Tony, when are you going to come to dinner here?
Tony,
Yeah.
come over for dinner. I'll make you food, or John will make you food. One of us will make you food.
We'll show you another movie
Tony, I'm going to be closer in a few months. I'll be in Lansdale.
Yeah.
with a fabulous bar. Nothing is going to beat that
Oh
bar.
my God. What the possibilities.
Well, did you see the Electro Home Music Center?
Did you send that to me?
I sent that to you. That's the one where the lights flash with
Tony-
the tempo.
Tony said, "Now I have not eaten and I hungry."
Uh-huh.
We have leftover salmon that I overcooked the shit out of.
He's coming to the well, you're going to be gone. He's coming to the show tomorrow.
I'll go to the show.
Oh,
tomorrow.
your show is tomorrow.
I was
Tomorrow
thinking
evening.
about going.
I thought you were working tomorrow.
I'm off work at 4, and the parade starts at 4. I can be there
Oh,
by 5:30, and
I
I
could-
can show up and just start
Wait,
touching him.
plug your
Hold-
show.
Hold it, I can go with you then.
Okay.
Because
Should I bother at that point? Like,
Please.
is it going to be?
It's okay.
Is it
this-
okay if I show up that late?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, okay. It's not going to start on time. I
understand.
told people 4, lineups at 4. We're going to be standing around in the parking lot until everybody's grandma gets their chance to have their opinion
Yeah.
on how we should drive the
Right.
cars into town.
Right.
Yeah.
I was about to make a really bad suggestion if we go to Dollar Tree and we just wrap a fuck ton of Christmas lights around the Camry and just like drive it through
Yes.
the show anyways.
Yeah,
But
that's a good idea. We'll take the Camry.
yeah, I think we
Yeah.
should take the Camry because I don't want to drive the
Oh,
steel cover up
I
there.
wish I had one of those giant strap-on menorahs.
Oh my god! Dude, just get the battery powered one that sits over on your team. We'll just tape it to the roof like the
Yeah.
Siennas in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
I have
How about the tree in the living room? We could put that in the trunk.
Yeah.
I want you to know, Jim, personally, that the gentleman who I bought my pal from
Yes.
was Jewish and was in a Jewish parade. And I have a photo of my pal with his family in the car, and it has a giant light up menorah on top of it.
I want that picture.
I'm trying. I know. I
I
have to
want
like
that
really far
picture
back in
so
time.
bad.
I'll find it, but like
I mean, like with that car is so small, you only got 3 nuts.
it's it's like
I've had
it's like,
dreidels that were bigger than that car.
Did you see the bit in the house tour that the people on the stream cannot see, where we found a game that looked like competitive dreidling?
No,
They
but
have
that's
competitive dreidling.
yeah.
Is there
I was
money in
making
it?
a joke. It was like
Oh, okay.
it was some game that it was in the wank shed. Like there was some keys in the house that just said Jim's shed, or
That's
Jim's
awesome.
barn, I guess.
Mhm.
And it was
I'm
just
gonna
a
go
shed in
whip
the
up whipped
backyard.
cream for this
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're
You
all
don't
going to
need
eat
to
on
move. You
camera.
can sit
Yeah.
down.
Oh, I'm used to getting up.
You don't need to help.
No, I wasn't going to help. I just wanted to give you some room to get my. I figured my ass was in the way. Usually it is.
It was a game called Skittles,
Uh-huh.
and there was is that it?
Oh my gosh.
It's
Oh,
yeah.
It says Happy Hanukkah, I think.
No,
Is there enough room on the back
You-
window?
the KKAH was on another one next to it.
Hmm.
That is beyond phenomenal.
I know. I'm like looking. He's got his children in the back too.
Well, they are small.
Anyway. Yeah.
That is funny.
I forgot I have that. Yes.
But there are a couple of strap-on menorahs in this neighborhood.
Nice. I remember seeing it growing up. That I don't know. Maybe Schuylkill County was more diverse in the late '80s and early '90s than it is now. I remember seeing plenty of menorahs growing up in the early '90s back then, and then suddenly after college come back, it just wasn't there.
It's not your imagination. I have some friends up in parts of the Poconos, like
Mhm.
around Wilkes-Barre and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, said exactly the same thing. 70s and 80s were far more diverse.
Just imagine a more. Oh, with all the music. Okay, so for people watching, I made a vague video on my Instagram of 70s style basement. I'm in contract to buy an unrestored house. Oh, what do we got?
Dan Mack says, I feel like I owe you for the constant quotes from the car show video, be it rare color, here's my toy car, I have a drone, etc., etc. Need more of those when the show starts up again.
Okay. Yeah. Car show season, we'll do more of that.
I know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's the end of car season, the
It
worst
is.
time of year.
Mm.
It'd be fun to film stuff at the car show tomorrow, but there's only going to be I don't know how many people are going to show up because I made some videos about it. You can come if you want. It'll make it.
It's already, it should be asleep. Oh, there's salt on the roads though.
Why don't we come
Yeah.
with us? We'll all go in the Camry. There's plenty of room.
I'm supposed to be resting tomorrow.
Yeah.
For what?
Life.
Sleep.
Tomorrow
Sleep in the car.
I blocked my calendar off for resting.
Oh, okay.
But
It's not the Sabbath.
Mhm.
It is. Tomorrow is the Sabbath. My bad.
tomorrow is the Sabbath. So I don't
Yeah,
Yeah.
I told you I was going to be in shul tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very. I don't want to know. It's very simple and quaint. The tree lighting ceremony in Orrigsburg. The high school marching band comes in, plays some Christmas songs. There'll be maybe some vendors. There'll be the big stainless steel urn of powdered hot chocolate mix.
Oh,
That they set
you
in the
mean it wasn't
styrofoam.
the cremains of a famous person?
No. They'll sell that. There'll be there'll be kids running around. I think the order of events is Santa comes in on a fire truck, not Tony's, a big one. And then the Grinch comes around, and then the Grinch chases Santa Claus. Orrigsburg Police Department arrests the Grinch, and then and then I think our parade comes in, and then after that, they light up the tree, and technically that's the end. Is that the tree in the center of town, we light it up, and then we just sort of hang around for a little bit. The
No witch
adults.
burning?
Oh man, that would have been so cool.
Yeah, you
Have
gotta,
something-
You have to have a heretic at the stake. You know?
Yeah.
It is the season.
We got that whole center square in town. No one really does anything with it. We all. It's going to be in the bank's parking lot, right, of the M&T Bank.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah.
By the way, the sound you hear in the background, Kurt is making whipped cream for the fresh strawberries we're having at dessert.
Yum.
And we can thank my husband, John, for prepping this incredible meal, which was fresh salmon, asparagus, and oven roasted potatoes.
It was lovely.
It was absolutely lovely.
Jarek says, "Hello, greetings from Poland." Hello. How's Poland these days? Says someone else. I think I have the gain up a little bit too. Nah, I mean, the exposure's fine. Slightly overexposed, but makes things rosy. So, Corey, you are about to drive across the country again? Are you
I
going?
am.
Yeah.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take the Tacoma. My mom is flying in on Christmas Day, and she has decided that the first day we're gonna make it to Tennessee, but the westernmost city, which I think is a 17-hour burn. And I was like, Mom, you have to drive if we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm happy to have the company, but like, I can't solo do 17 straight through. And she's like, I'll drive.
Okay.
So theoretically, we're gonna knock out 17, and then we're gonna get to Texas the next day, and then Arizona. Yeah.
So day 1, Tennessee. Day 2, Texas.
Yeah.
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 That's a schlep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but an easier schlep. I don't personally love. So I think we have to leave at like 4 a.m.
Ew.
because we have to get past DC, and then we're gonna take like I guess 81, which is the most personally the worst road to drive on. I feel like. And we're gonna try and get out of the East Coast. Once you get past Arkansas, it's not too bad. Like it just
Mhm.
opens up and you're on big interstate. But
Yeah.
the East Coast, and it's actually worse. I feel like coming back because it's just pleasant, open, big sky country until
Yeah.
you hit like Virginia, and then you're just,
Yeah.
and then it's
Mhm.
just DC, Baltimore, Philly. Like
Yeah.
you just have to punch your way through those.
Yeah. Driving up from Georgia, it's kind of chill a little bit
Yeah.
until you hit Richmond, Virginia, and then it's
Exactly.
bullshit.
Yep. Yep.
But you're used to just making time. You're not used
Yep.
to just running into stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's honestly, I'm looking forward to the sun.
I think there's some dirty dishes in it, but
I'm
yes.
just trying to find enough bowls to serve our.
Okay, let me.
Oh, actually, there's 4 of them.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think we
Buc-ee's!
should be
Someone
fine.
shouted out Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
I've actually never been to Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
It's an institution.
It is.
Yes.
I mean, Wawa greater than Buc-ee's.
Well, you can make
You think
Buc-ee's.
Wawa is better than Buc-ee's?
bullshit.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
Sorry, I lived in Texas for a little while. I got it.
I think. Well,
Okay.
I think Wawa's been going downhill.
I would agree.
I think at once they might have been better than Buc-ee's. But I don't know.
Well, okay. I haven't tried Buc-ee's coffee, so that's something. Buc-ee's top tier bathrooms. I do remember the bathrooms were very pleasant.
What about them was pleasant? Did the doors go down all the way to the floor?
I can't remember. I just remember it was clean, and there seemed to be always there was someone attending to the bathroom in
The bathroom.
Buc-ee's.
So
Yeah.
yeah, the bathrooms at Buc-ee's are cleaned constantly. They never stop.
Mm.
There's like 40 stalls.
Mm.
My favorite thing about them, actually, though, they are exceptionally clean. There's a light above every single stall, and it's like a full door. Like it's a
That's
door.
what I was saying. Do
it
the
is a
doors go all the
full
way down
door
to
that
the-
you close, that you're like in your own like dressing room.
Whoa!
Of
This is how
bathroom.
abused we are in America.
And there's a light above the door that tells you if someone's in there or not. So you don't even have to play games with like rattling the door. You just go to one with a green light and you're in.
You
And it's
rattle
clean.
the door?
Well, I mean, you know.
You
Some people
don't do the
Pooping
voyeur
happens.
the voyeuristic look between the crack
Some-
and look
some
for
people-
legs.
Some people hop
Yeah.
into bathrooms and just start kicking doors. It's not me, but you know.
I feel like if anything, rattling the door delays you getting in because you just scare the poop back inside the person.
Yeah, I was turtling and now it's back in.
Yes.
It went back in.
You mean you can prolapse poop?
Yeah,
I always heard it referred to as prairie dogging.
yeah, that works too. Suck it back in.
My brother says I ordered the bidet. It was $42. Venmo me $21. Do I have Tim's Venmo?
You're splitting it with your brother.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna get my parents something again too. It's just I get my dad mixed nuts and berries every year because that's what he likes.
Do you want a spoon or fork?
Ooh,
Oh.
spoon, please.
I want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Clunk.
Thanks.
For the leftover beers and different.
Bottom drawer of that fridge. Nope. No. That's the freezer. Just fridge, but bottom drawer.
Oh, wow, look at that.
I sorted them all like that because somebody put them in there sideways, so they were like rolling around every time you open the door. I'm like, there's a better way to do this. How's my whipped cream? I creamed it myself.
I don't. I didn't get it yet.
Oh my god. Oh. Oh.
Tony made a picture of his airspeed, I guess, instrument airspeed, not ground speed.
Right.
Of pilot said something, we're cleared to go home. So I got to burn like a couple $1,000 of extra Jet A because we want to get home quicker.
Nice.
So we got to just firewall that thing. But he says it's diminishing returns with as you approach like max cruise. Like you could like burn a whole bunch of pounds of fuel, but only get home like maybe 5 minutes ahead of time or something like that. But I guess sometimes that matters. Thank you for the strawberries. Thank you for the whipped cream. Eating on mic.
Well, we wanted to make this one a dinner party.
Yeah. So earlier, before I came here,
Nothing. I just like was watching Corey read and she was just nodding. So I was like waiting for something to happen.
I am a very reactive, like when I'm reading something, I'll be like, and then I'll be like, just disapproval or something.
I have that, but like when I'm talking to customers at work. Like I don't know. I can sense when people are starting to ask me a really stupid question. I'm like,
you can't interrupt, but like
I can't, but I can go no. No.
Can't you just?
Yeah.
Whenever you hit the word just, it means I know nothing about what I'm talking about.
A friend of mine, my friend Victor, that you met the last time we were doing the live stream, he showed up right at the end of it.
Yeah.
You met him a bajillion times. He works at a Toyota dealership selling parts. So we have very similar jobs. So we text each other a lot about like, what stupid shit did somebody you talked to today do? And we were reminiscing about the number of times someone has asked me at the retail parts counter at one of 900 Hyundai dealerships in the world, can you ask Hyundai to make one?
yes.
Like when they want an accessory
Call
for
Mr.
their
Hyundai.
car.
Yes.
Yeah, like when they're looking for an accessory. People will, like, do you have roof racks for my, no. Can you ask Hyundai to make, no.
Absolutely. I'll get right on that.
Yeah, I'm going to climb straight to the top of that fucking ladder.
How do people like that function?
No.
Are they you just say things you think of?
Well, I feel like it's a level of I don't want to say entitlement, but maybe I do want to say entitlement.
But it kind of is.
But kind of like to just like, if I ask for it hard enough, it will come. That's how my sandwiches at the restaurant get to my plate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have yelled enough.
Yeah, I've yelled enough.
Therefore, this will work.
They're the people that firmly believe you're lying to them when you tell them that you don't have another one in the back. Can you check in the back for me? No, I promise you everything we have is on the floor. But can you just look?
You should do it anyway. Just go back to the store.
Can you just double check? Maybe you've got a stock order.
Go into the
Maybe
room, spin around in a circle, and come back out and be like, ooh.
Yeah.
Couldn't find one.
If I smoked, that would have been my smoke break.
Yeah.
Can you go check in the back and I just like go suck down a cigarette as fast as possible?
What do you mean a cigarette?
Well, you know.
I loved your razor blade story from today.
My razor blade story?
Yeah, about the.
Oh my God, yes.
Did you smoke a razor blade?
No. So I called. So my Sequoia has rain guards on it, which I'm not the biggest fan of the rain guards. Like, you know, the little visors or whatever. But it has the stick-on ones. I like the rain guards that go in the channel, like in the run channel.
Oh yeah.
Like you stick them up in the channel and shut the window, and they hold themselves in shape. These are the stick-on ones, and the one on the passenger rear door, ever since I got the truck, has been like it looked like it got hot. Like it was all like wavy and warped, and the rest of them are fine.
Yeah.
And one day it flew off. But when I got the truck, it came with an extra right rear door brake guard in the trunk. So I was like, well, he must have known like that this was going to happen. Anyways, long story short, the double-sided sticky shit's still stuck to the window, and it's like rock hard now. Like it's not like I can't peel it off. But I don't want to take the rubber behind, like the applique, like the matte black trim behind it off with an actual razor blade. So for whatever, you can buy plastic razor blades. They're shaped like safety razors. They have a little sharpened point on them, but they're just they're made out of plastic. So I called one of our parts suppliers. Just said, hey, do you have any plastic razor blades? And the dude responds immediately, what are they for practice? Because you can't kill yourself with these.
Nice.
I was like, this guy loves his job just as much as I do.
And now we're friends.
Yeah, and now we're besties. Yeah. And then they gave me the worst plastic razor blades I've ever seen. Like they're not even sharpened to a point on the edge. They're just dull. It's literally just the shape of a razor blade stamped out of old credit cards or whatever.
God, that's awesome.
So I'm like, this is actually useless. So I'm out there in the parking lot just like gumming.
Does it bend like
I'm just like, it's the equivalent of somebody with no teeth trying to eat crackers. I'm just like gumming away at this stupid fucking adhesive. Anywho, I still haven't put it on the car because I can't get the old shit off.
So you have old double-sided tape attached to the rubber.
The door. Yeah, it's on the outside of the door.
It's attached to rubber?
Well, so like on your 4Runner, around the doors, around the window, there's that black trim.
Oh, yeah.
But it's metal underneath, and the black is just like a coating that goes on that.
Right.
So that I don't want to peel that black coating off.
And Goo Gone would be too aggressive?
I don't know that Goo Gone would be too aggressive, but the last time I used Goo Gone on a car and I got it on the glass, it like left a weird residue on the glass.
Yeah.
And then I got mad about that.
Was that with the Toyota with the thing I thought was a cracked windshield? And there was some crap on it that you got off?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The inside of your car, that was a blast.
Is anybody giving you suggestions on how to get hardened tape off of rubber? Did anybody tell you to come on it yet?
No. I do have somebody complaining that we aren't paying enough attention to the chat, but there's nothing happening in the chat. Like nobody's asking questions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. How can I pay better attention to you? What do you want from me? Somebody said 70% isopropyl, which I'm definitely on my way to.
Yeah. That's what I clean the inside of my fursuit head out with every time I wear it at a convention.
I watched that live stream.
Yeah. It works as a good glass cleaner too. If you do isopropyl, just dilute it.
Yeah.
Great glass cleaner.
So
somebody did ask, did you review any Chinese cars in Australia? I've seen this.
I wanted to. I wanted to get the BYD or BDM or BBW. I didn't get any submitted to me. I saw them passing by. They looked like generic cars from a Grand Theft Auto game. Like they sort of looked like they were literally the greatest hits of every contemporary design right now. Yeah.
BYD, by the way.
BYD
stands for Build Your Dream.
Oh, does it really?
Yes, it does.
Wait.
Because there's Build Your Dream, and then there's also Great Wall, which is another one.
Yeah,
I remember. That's what somebody else was talking about.
Yeah, I saw it earlier, and it reminded me that that's a thing that exists. Because I'm in a furry group chat with there's one EV stan in this group chat out of 118 people.
Yeah.
And anytime somebody mentions anything about Elon Musk or how Tesla sucks, he's like, it zooms into the chat of there's other better EVs. And I'm like, didn't ask.
You summoned me.
Yeah. And he lives in not here either. So he's on a totally different time zone than us, but he's always there.
He has an alert. He's listening for.
He's ready.
Buzzwords.
Yeah.
Shout out to anybody who's watching this at Midwest Fur Fest right now.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the Reg Line day. That should have been something I streamed for. Are you in the Reg Line?
Are you in the Reg Line? Watch my live stream.
Yeah, pass the time.
Better going on anyways.
Yeah. I don't get
the guy with the Bluetooth speaker next to you on the line.
God.
Watch my live stream instead.
Why do furries like standing in line and complaining about standing in line? I don't stand in lines.
No.
I hate waiting for anything.
Yeah.
I will. What's going on Thursday at a convention? Nothing.
No.
You just want to go to a dance later? I always reg on Friday
Yeah.
morning.
I do the same
Well,
thing. too.
don't you buy like a one level up so you can just
Like sponsor
skip the
tier,
queue?
but like even
Yeah.
still, like I don't know.
Well, I did sponsor. Yes, I did sponsor, but I didn't do it on Thursday. Anthrocon's reg is pretty good, but I think half of it, I don't know. I'm prepared for the worst, but yeah, at Anthrocon, it took me 10 minutes. I didn't even get like ultra sponsor. I just got normal sponsor. I get my own line. I walk in, I walk out. Now, this is bragging, but I do get recognized by the staff.
Yeah.
They're like, Mr. Regular, come on over here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on.
You
here's-
can't say no. You
And,
can't be like,
and-
no, I'd
and
and now
rather.
you've just been featured in a furry magazine.
I have been
Yeah.
just featured in a furry sex magazine.
Yes, it's called, in the magazine is called Chasing Tail.
Mhm.
It's an homage to Playboy, Playgirl, circa the look of the early 70s. And Mr. Regular was the featured interviewee in the current
Yeah.
issue, which just went on sale at
Mhm.
Midwest Fur
So if
Fest.
you're at Midwest Fur Fest, get a copy of Chasing Tail. There's a full interview with wonderful photography by Jim,
Mhm.
Yeah.
who also wrote the article. And yeah.
And all the photographs in that magazine are taken on film.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, everything in there. Sean.
Oh.
Yep. Very
Um,
cool. Yeah, Julius is a very interesting dude. Very cool dude. I just had a thought that like just ran away from me as fast as it entered my head.
We were talking about Midwest Fur Fest. We were talking about registration.
Registration, reg line.
I hate waiting in
Yeah, I
line.
hate waiting in line. I wish that more cons. I can't remember which con does it, but there was a con that started mailing out your reg badge. So if you pre-reg, they mailed it to you.
Yeah, wow.
Fuck
Best
yeah.
fucking thing in the world. Like, there's absolutely no reason why you need to wait in the reg line
Mhm.
at a convention.
Yeah.
You should, frankly,
that's
you should be able to
crazy.
get a QR code on your
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
A lot of
Also that, but like even still, you would still have to queue up and wait in a line if they just mailed them to you. Like registration for every convention happens 4 months before the convention starts.
Yeah.
So it's not like
When
they
I go
don't
to
have
the
time to mail them to you.
when I go to the New York City Auto Show, it's done. Actually, do I?
No,
Fuck
you-
me! I still have to
no,
go.
you have to do that whole like press thing because I went with you that one.
Yeah, you still have to
But
go to the
NFB
table.
does like a semi version of it where they pre-print and they have them all ready. So that
Yeah,
when you come in for reg, it's like, hi, show me your ID. Here's your badge.
yeah.
Enjoy.
Next year is the last year at the Sheridan, isn't it?
for
It
FD.
is.
For
I
FD?
don't think that's confirmed yet.
Okay,
I don't know.
Roger that.
Um,
I like
I
the
know-
Sheridan
I
because
love
it's
the
like
Sheridan,
it's
and the
like
Sheridan loves us, which is great.
okay, good.
Yes.
I guess the only thing that I recall was like our concierge or whoever our go-to person at the Sheridan when we were having the sponsorship dinner and I was at the table with Drain.
Yeah.
She just came up. It was really more of a concern on her part that people were going to the hotel restaurant and not ordering anything. They just wanted to sit down at a table.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. But no, she's lovely. Her and Drain have a fantastic relationship.
Oh,
and I've
good,
met her
good.
and she's
Mhm.
wonderful. And she will totally go to bat for us and she lets us get away with murder.
Hell
And actually,
yeah.
they started doing that in the cocktail lounge / lunch area where they would go up to people and say, you do have to order food, which is
Yeah.
reasonable.
It is, yeah.
There's like a discussion happening about EVs in the chat, and I want to get involved super bad because I have a lot of opinions.
Well,
both
that's
good
what
and
a
bad.
live stream is for.
That's true. Do you mind if I derail for 3
Ooh,
seconds?
Please go right ahead.
So I, as a forever gasoline car enjoyer,
Mm-hmm.
love EVs. I'd love to have one as a daily driver.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge.
You enjoyed mine when we drove it
I
back
do- I
with
did love your-
Galaxy
I-
Part
I
1.
loved your Kia Niro. Yep, with the first Galaxy that was a total flop.
Yeah.
I work for Hyundai and I love the Ioniq cars. They're fantastic.
Dude,
Like,
I
Hyundai's doing a
just,
great job on
it's
those.
coming out soon. I drove the Ioniq 6. Loved it.
Yeah, they're
And the
awesome.
reason I like the Ioniq 6, it's a true sedan
Yep.
with a trunk.
Yep.
This is a car that you used to have
Yep.
before trucks became like luxury vehicles.
Uh-huh.
Your truck, your C10 truck, your Dodge, whatever, that's the thing that does work. And when you're ready to go to Shady Maple or whatever
Yeah.
dumbass thing like mid-state PA, you want to go to there was that one restaurant.
Well, you have the double-
Burnville. It was in Burnville, and it was an A-frame building. I think the diner is still there. It's next to a Boyer's, next to Burnville. It's not near Heidelberg Country Club. Anyway, people in the chat don't care. But it's like, name your blank family restaurant that everybody's parents go to. You don't take the truck. You get in the sedan, the Buick Century, the Chrysler New Yorker. Yeah. The Ioniq 6 is just a sedan that you just drive to places. It doesn't have to. The trunk is useless. It's terrible.
It's big. You can put suitcases in it, go to the airport, whatever.
That's it.
That's fine.
You have a ride.
You
You have other vehicles to do your heavy stuff. This is your nice, quiet sedan that just drives. Yeah.
So I love electric cars. I am a big fan of the way that they're going, and I like that we're finally getting to a point now, because that weird era like range anxiety, people like when EVs were doing sub 300 miles of range consistently. Now that we're well above 300 everywhere, which is like what I feel like most people get out of a tank of gas. 300 to 400 miles is probably pretty average, unless you're driving
when I had
driving a Sequoia.
Yeah, unless you're driving a Sequoia.
Are we going to hear about the Echo?
Oh, you're Echo.
Oh, that thing is just me windmilling my dick and everything. No, I was about to mention when we were doing the giveaways, and I had the Viper V10, 180 mile range.
But
the V10 and Viper truck.
There are
180 miles. That's how far it goes.
What do you get in the 4Runner?
That's, you know what? It's probably the same as the Nairo.
I know.
Yeah.
I
mean, the
know.
Nairo, it was a chilly day today. I left my house at 100% and it was reading 248 miles of range.
Right.
Normally in the summertime, it's over 300 at 100%. Yeah.
Oh,
but
wow.
I've had this discussion now because I've been talking to people who live in Europe that are like big pro EV, and I think that's fantastic.
Because everything's close together over there.
Right. Yeah. So
and you're going slow and you're going through town.
So point number one, speed limits are slow. You're not going very far. You have transit that exists if you want to travel to another country.
And EVs like cities. They like speeding up and slowing down. Yeah.
And so he also introduced me to something that I didn't know was a thing at all, which is super cool. But in certain cities, at least in England where he's at, they are at the point now where they have EV chargers that are built into the road.
I knew that's where you were
going.
going.
So they don't take up, like, not you drive and it charges, but they're built into like where you park, like all along the parking, like the parking lane on every little narrow road in London. They have in the ground, like you just pull up, you parallel park, and there's like an outlet somewhere near you, and you pull a charger out, and you plug your shit in, which solves the problem that we have here in America for people who live in apartments.
Oh yeah, or that. Yeah.
Or cities.
That's the hugest problem I think with EVs is that like a lot of people here live in apartments with either no parking or it's like street parking, so you can't ever guarantee that you'll be near a charger. You have to go somewhere designated to charge. So that's problem number one. Whereas like gas stations are everywhere. You can just pull up to any gas station anywhere and you know you're going to get gas unless there's something weird happening.
Yeah.
So the charger thing is cool because I can't drape a charger out of my kitchen window down to the street because I've seen it though.
I saw it at 48th in Baltimore.
But the number of times that I get to park on the same street as my apartment happens about
very rarely.
3 times a month. Yeah. If I'm lucky.
Do you delay your grocery trip run when you do get a good spot though?
Absolutely. If I get home and
I'm saying here as long as possible.
If I get home and I have prime time spot, I don't leave the house until I have to.
Right.
But so problem 2 is the range thing for sure, and that our charging infrastructure kind of sucks.
Correct.
It's not that it can't be good. It could be good, and I'm gonna at the risk of saying something political, I'm gonna say something political really quick.
My monetization.
We could have a better charging network. And then people go, oh, well, the power grid can't handle it. We could have a power grid that could handle it.
Dude,
we could have a better charging network.
Put a man on the moon.
We won't have either of those things until the people at power stop making money off of oil. Whenever people that have any sway in the world stop making money off of oil, then we'll invest in making the electrical grid better and charging better. But as long as oil is king, It's not going to happen.
So as long as oil is tied to political
and that's
influence,
my belief. But
or rather, as
I don't think I'm wrong. but that's
yeah.
that's my feeling.
Well,
It's not
that's
a matter.
actually that makes perfect economic sense. In other words, you're saying if there is an economic advantage to one technology, you're not going to have the other one supplant it
Right.
until there is.
It is basic
And
economics.
the only difference in that is that if somebody has the foresight to invest in it, which other places are going to have, eventually those lines are going to cross.
Right.
My favorite example of that, digital photography and film photography.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
knew that with Moore's law that digital photography was going to be good enough or better than film by a certain point. Eastman Kodak decided it was 2008. The world decided it was 2000.
Correct.
yeah,
Yes.
Jim, when I was out of college, I was just a Joe job out of college, and I was working at the camera store
Mhm.
in the Berkshire Mall in Reading in 2004, and seeing the film cameras
Mhm.
get moved farther and farther back toward the end of the store as I'm working there.
Mhm.
The digital cameras just kept moving forward, and it seemed to me that we still did plenty of film in 2004,
Mhm.
cranking them out, people coming in doing their shopping, and we would not get only our people who came into our store, but the Boscovs with Ritz Camera, which was really Camera Shop.
Mhm.
They would have the 1 hour photo in the Boscovs, but then they would just put them in a cardboard box and walk them out into the mall to ours, because we had the developer and the fully analog printer.
Mhm.
My first job developing photos was at the Boscovs in the Fairlane Village Mall in Pottsville. They had a fully digital printer.
Wow.
So it scanned it was a big film scanner, scanned all your negatives, and then you could print in batches.
Mhm.
But in a totally hipster way, I liked the old school one.
Yeah.
In that looked like a train. You looked like it was huge.
Yeah.
And it had a little escalator
Mhm.
where the film would come down. And the idea that no, this is a real light bulb down here that I'm pressing magenta, move it in and out, brighten it up, depending. But I'm just manipulating the bulb down
Right.
there.
Mhm.
And the other digital one, I could do a bunch more to it.
Right.
But that was just a digital projection
Yeah,
of your
not the
analog
same.
picture onto your film. Now, everybody from the church consistory didn't care
Right.
what their pictures were. They just liked that they could see their little kids at the Pee Wee football game. Or
Right.
Oh, they're all terrible photos.
Did
too,
this place have like one of the little tractors where the pictures went in the front window?
We didn't have that. We weren't a store with Ritz Camera, Wolf
Mhm.
Camera, because we just didn't sell enough high-end bullshit.
Yeah.
And we didn't have enough add-ons, because the deal was customers would come in. I love it. I want a camera that takes good pictures.
Mhm.
Any one of these.
Right. Just pick one.
Yeah.
This
I-
one has a talent option.
Man, talk about sales. I made a mistake. Now, in terms of my numbers, was very good. I sold a woman a Nikon D50
Mhm.
when it came out. That was Nikon's first SLR that
Yeah.
took SD cards and not compact flash.
Yep.
Mhm.
I loved it when they finally did that, because I hated compact flash, because boomers would get them and put them in backwards and shove them in
Just
and
ram
bend
them.
all those little pins in there. Your
Everywhere.
camera's fucked.
Yep.
SDs can only go that. Yeah.
They're keyed. They can only go one
Yeah.
way.
Mhm.
Yep.
You can't force them in. We're gonna put them in the other way. And she wanted I want to take photos of my kids, baseball game or
Mhm.
whatever. I'm like, well, this obviously will do it, shutter control. But I didn't realize I was selling a product that was way too above someone. This person
Mhm.
needed a Pentax,
Yeah.
the upper level point and shoot with the fixed lens, because because I wasn't listening to her needs. What her needs was really just a long zoom.
Mhm.
And we
Yeah.
had lots of other products,
Mm.
not this thing. And she came back in livid because all her photos were blurry, because that little switch on the end of the barrel of the lens was set to manual.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing we did plenty of film. A good like at least 50% of our numbers came from disposable cameras,
Yeah.
and occasionally there would be a casual person who would come in and said, you know, I just buy these at the grocery store. They're good, but will one of these be better? And I don't know if there's a term in sales and recognizing that. In my head, I'm like, they won't. They
Right.
probably
They
won't.
probably won't. Yeah.
Because if you're outdoors, those those disposable cameras, as long as the speed was correct,
Right.
like a 400 kind of
They
for
pull their weight.
everything,
Yeah,
I'll
it was
fix
like
them.
a 400 ISO.
Yeah.
They have a ton of latitude.
Yeah.
The lens is tiny, so everything's in focus.
Focus. Yeah.
Doesn't. Yeah. If you just give it light.
Yeah.
Well, it's like going back 100 years to the box brownie. If you used it within its limitations, you'll get great pictures.
Yeah. I think. Oh, do you see something?
What's a boxed brownie?
Oh, Jim.
All right.
Like
Jim,
delicious brownie mix?
No,
Was
what
that
happened-
invented when you're like
all
what
right,
are you
here,
talking about?
I'm going to go back a ways.
I'm sorry to
The
derail.
first
No, please. This is great.
amateur, I'm going to say, roll film camera, which was a new technology in 1888,
Hell yeah.
was the Kodak.
Right.
Okay. And it
Right.
was expensive. It was like $25 and you got 100 pictures out of it and so forth. And that's what began, snap shooting for amateurs. And it was a box and you'd look down
Yeah.
and it had a little
Single,
viewfinder.
yep,
Okay. So they realized that there was a market for two things. Number one, people who would load their own film on a roll, so you didn't have to send it to the factory to get
Okay.
100 pictures loaded in. And also it was pretty expensive. So in 1900, they introduced a camera called the Brownie. Brownie meaning like a little,
Okay.
character.
Okay.
And it was $1. And that's really what created the whole market of amateur, photography and snapshots.
Okay.
So for decades and decades after that, the low-end camera, like the $8 camera that Kodak sold, was the Brownie.
Okay. Okay.
So that's where, and you could get really good pictures with one as long as you used it within its limits.
Okay.
The advantage of an expensive camera is that it has greater flexibility, but you have to know what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah. It's the majority of the photo or the video I end up using in RCR is coming either from a GoPro, which
Right.
is a fixed lens, tiny
Yeah.
aperture, or the DJI Osmo 3 that's strapped to the car.
Right.
That Canon XA60, as fantastic as it is getting used less and less because I need to mess with it a little bit. And also the D750 is primarily used as a fake macro lens
Right.
because I export at 1080 and the D750 is a 24 megapixel camera. I zoom in, I don't lose any resolution. So if I'm looking at something deep into the engine or a picture of the nice crustiness in between the H pattern diagram on the top of a gear shifter
I
that
love
has
it.
30 years of
I love those. I
Yeah.
love when you do that. That's when because I look at that and I go, could do a little, I see that because it's like, man, we couldn't have wiped that off before we did this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Couldn't
I
be bothered.
love cars brought to me in the initial state that they are.
Yeah.
Like when we did a Tesla Model X with the Gullwing or Hawk doors. I don't
Yeah,
care.
stupid doors.
Yeah. And seeing that thing being used as a family car and the inside was just trash.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, this is as good as it deserves. Also, at the time, I still had my Sarah with the superior doors.
Oh, yeah, with the better doors. When we need to get if we get really mega shitty weather,
Yeah.
can we do the Benz wagon video in like the worst weather humanly
Man, if
possible?
we have snow,
Yeah.
yeah. We film in the
Not
snow.
only does that car absolutely kick ass in the snow, but I feel like that car
Whoa.
deserves to be recorded in its element when it's covered
Mhm.
in ice
Yeah.
and salt,
Yeah.
just from top to bottom, because that's how it looks all winter long. That's what I do with that car, because it's got mechanical all-wheel drive. It's
Yeah.
transfer case, front and rear diff, no electronics.
Oh, it's like a Subaru. It's
It's-
50-50 all the time.
It's 70-30 all the time.
Okay.
The front is an open diff and the transfer case is open, and it
Mhm.
uses like torque vectoring through the brakes to try to get you out of sticky shit.
Ford style.
Yeah, which is it's a little weird, but it works. Like I got it stuck once.
Ford did it with the RS, I think. Well, maybe not the RS. Might have been the ST, but it
Yeah.
may even be the RS
But
that just uses brakes.
Yeah, and
I remember when it just shifted on the first time.
the first time we got stuck, and the owner's manual, I read it, and it was literally like put it in winter mode, like put the transmission in winter mode, turn off traction control, and floor it. It's literally what it tells you to do if you get stuck. And so the first time I was like, I can outdrive this thing, like I know what I'm doing. So I was like feathering it, and I
Yeah.
was just spinning the two tires. So I just turned off traction control and laid into it, and it like spun and then locked and kicked me out of the bank. And I was like, yo, and I was like, that's awesome. I was like, this is so good. I love this car. And now I beat the shit out of it in the snow.
Fuck yeah.
As soon as it's fixed, I want to get like, but you're getting rust holes, you're getting inches of salt crystals
Yeah.
built up on shit.
Yeah.
You're getting the whole thing.
Dude, I'm gonna drive that
There's
Honda.
Corey, there is a hole the size of a quarter in my fender.
I know.
I don't care.
I don't know. I don't know. Once I had greater than one car, I was like, so bad.
Everything.
You
Did
drove
you-
all.
Did you get it? Did you go get it today?
Getting it Monday.
Okay.
Shame I don't have it for the show.
Yeah.
So did I tell you what happened?
No. Well, I mean, I saw that you said that the seller was like,
Yeah,
You can have it.
he talked himself down.
great.
Favorite kind of seller.
Yeah.
But I even kind of forgot about it. Actually, no, I never did forget about it.
No.
But I'm
I
like,
think you did.
yeah,
You
this
talked
is
about it.
immature.
Whatever.
Wait,
But
was
he-
the Honda today the one that
Maturity is vastly overrated.
Nice.
You did like the
Look at him.
self-reflection driving.
I
home?
did.
I
Driving
avoided it
home.
for
I
decades.
knew, and I thought like this is very mature of him. Also, I'm disappointed.
I was like, oh, strange.
Yeah.
Jarek Nowak mentions in the chat the first generation of Merc 4MATIC had unusual springs in the front. They did. Thank God I didn't buy one of those. I have the next generation E-Class, which is the W210, S210 generation. It too has a really idiotic front spring design, but they didn't do like the long coil. I don't know if you've seen those, but because the axle goes through the middle of where the spring is, and Mercedes
Yes.
is a
I've
little
seen-
bit
yeah.
behind the curve, and that they still haven't figured out that the McPherson strut has been designed. So they still use like a spring
Double A
and
arm.
a shock, and a double A arm. So you've got a lower arm and an upper arm,
Yeah.
and the shock goes through the middle, and the spring, there's just like an upper perch,
Mm-hmm.
and the spring just goes between the lower arm and that perch. And it's really stupid. But on the W124 era,
Mm-hmm.
they had like the coil spring did like 4 loops, and then like one
Long
long
one.
coil where the axle went through,
Yeah.
and then like more coil loops at the top, which is like,
Oh
Who
my
thought
So
god.
that was
scary.
so then as soon as the
scary.
springs rust, they just like ping at the middle and
Yeah.
they snap, and you're done. But my car is exponentially, well, not worse, but it's worse in a stupid way, that it still doesn't have a proper McPherson
Excuse me.
strut in the front. You're excused. It's time for your old lady meds.
Yeah, exactly. I have to take my meds.
And so it has, the spring goes through the middle of the shock, or the shock goes through the middle of the spring, but it's not a contained unit. So there's an upper perch for the spring,
Mhm.
and then the shock has the lower perch for the spring on it. The
Oh.
spring sits on shock, but spring does not sit on shock mount. Spring sits on its own mount. Shock goes through the middle of that mount to its own mount further up.
So spring, and then the spring is in business for itself for a while.
Correct. Yeah, it is. And then the axle runs under it because they have this big
Oh my
fork.
God.
There's like the spring perch and then a fork that goes down, and the axle runs through the middle of that. So when I did the struts on it, I didn't have the right style spring compressor to do
I'm
it.
sure.
And I was on a lift, not really thinking, and so I'm like, okay, so
Oh.
if I unbolt the shock, the spring will decompress at an alarming rate directly down to the floor. So I used a pull jack as a spring compressor to hold the shock in place while I undid the upper mounts, and then I lowered the pole jack really slowly to decompress the
This is
spring.
genius, but also
I
terrifying.
was on a ladder because I'm on
Yeah,
a ladder
no.
because the car's on a lift,
No,
Corey.
no,
So I'm on a
no,
ladder up top,
no.
unmounting,
No.
undoing the shock bolts. While my friend Jeff is underneath me, 8 beers deep, like lowering the pole jack.
Oh,
And at
crazy house with a bunch of cars, Jeff.
And at one point in time, the spring pushes so hard, like when it gives way, it pushes so hard on the pole jack, it sends the pole jack flying, the spring goes flying, it hits the ladder that I'm standing on.
No.
And I'm 8 feet up in the air, like just screaming, hoping to God that the ladder doesn't get knocked over. It was awesome. It was, don't do that again. I'm not doing it again. I don't care. I paid for brand new springs because both my springs were broken.
Well, they
So I paid
left
for
the earth.
brand. Well, I mean they were broken before, which is why I was doing this. But I paid for new springs and new Bilstein shocks. So I will not own the car the next time this needs to happen again. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool.
Folks on TikTok, I'm just promoting our live stream that we're doing at this particular time on my YouTube channel. We've been at it for a while. I'm at my friend Jim's house. We're double dipping.
Yep. I love double dipping.
Yeah, I'm just. This is TikTok, so I can't talk about. Dude, I mentioned a certain. I mentioned purple on a TikTok stream,
right.
and it got delisted.
Oh well, they don't like that.
They don't like that.
What, purple? Because
It's another streaming format.
oh,
Like we're alluding to.
you're alluding
I'm
to-
alluding to
Does it rhyme?
there was an old film called Blank Madness,
Mhm.
and about the dangers of blank.
Oh, okay.
But you can't say that because the People's Republic of TikTok does not like us talking about anything that isn't the glory of
TikToking.
Yes.
Yes. So they don't want
Sticking
you
along.
to refer to it.
Yes.
'Cause
Yeah.
It's not them.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody who are watching on TikTok. Please go to our YouTube channel. Let's see if TikTok delists me for literally promoting my YouTube channel. That's streaming right now.
Yeah.
I'm literally filming the chat with TikTok to say, go to my YouTube channel, regular car
So
reviews.
you're streaming one, you're streaming that. This is like the Flomax of
Right.
video.
Yeah. So, hey, my 1998 Forester video. Hey, your 1998 Forester video is wrong.
Okay.
Did I do a 98 Forester?
That's not Goldie.
Oh.
Goldie's,
Is that mine?
Goldie's not a 98.
Yours
Is that
was a-
Leslie?
yours
That's
was
a
an-
legacy, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, the 98 Forester was someone who put an EJ20 into a
okay,
Forester a
okay.
million years ago.
Okay.
Okay, thank you to everybody. I'm
Yep.
saying goodbye to TikTok. Go watch me on YouTube. Go watch me on YouTube. Go watch me on YouTube. I'm watching on YouTube. I'm gay.
Yes, to answer your question, local traveler. Yes, the 210 was sold in the U.S. I own one, and I lived in the U.S. More on that later. Also, local traveler. They haven't checked the chat in an hour. Incorrect. I'm literally responding to you and your comments about EVs.
To you personally.
I'm talking literally about you. I don't know how much more chat I can check.
They're used.
How can I pay better attention to you?
They're
Do you
used.
need me to pay more attention to you?
They're used to people on
This sounds
like.
like an AI therapy session.
It
Yeah.
does.
Like-
What do you need from me?
I always love people on I guess it's Twitch where they're like doing something and it's like ding ding ding. People who are subscribing, no acknowledgement from the streamer whatsoever. It's
like,
just ding ding
I-
all day.
I already have ADHD. I don't like having a
Yeah.
conversation about one
Yeah.
topic is enough of a
Right.
challenge as it is. I don't need to start responding to more things that are happening.
Wawa, agua.
Agua? Oh,
Agua.
there's a chair there.
Whoa.
Watch out for that.
Here, Wawa Aqua.
I would love to see you review a 9701 Lexus ES300. Me too. I would buy one because I love that generation ES300.
Wow.
I would buy one just so that Brian could review it, but also
Get
for
on
myself
it.
because I love them. I have a little funny problem with those though. That
Is it the
generation of
dollars?
Camry.
Oh.
No, they're cheap. Because that, funnily enough, the ES somehow gets like less love than the
I need to go
Camry.
to
That's the
that.
identical car does. Go piss, girl.
That bathroom.
But that bathroom. Yeah, that's the.
We'll get an Instagram video.
That's the
That's
nice
the
one.
that's the nice one you say, but really what happens is if you're gonna do respectful things, you do it in the bathroom on this floor.
Oh,
If you're gonna be disrespectful, go to the one in the basement.
Yeah,
downstairs.
in other words, if you want to summon the animals, you use that one down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's a good one. But no, the 9701 ES300, I love them. It's just a Camry, but over there. But the Camry of that generation and the ES of that generation are both troublesome for me as a 6'2" tall individual, in that like the seat does not move back far enough for my legs to be comfortable. Because I'm not necessarily more leg than torso, but the distance from hip to knee is a problem. So like my knees hit everything in every car
you're
ever.
like Adam Driver proportion.
Yeah, my knees hit a lot of things, and like I need a car. It's one of the myriad of reasons I love my 210. That generation of E-Class was the first time they had a telescoping steering column, and Mercedes committed to the telescoping steering column. Like if you see my driving position in that car, the steering wheel is like a foot away from the dash. Like it's so, because I like to sit down in cars.
Yes.
I kind of sit like a racing car driver in the non-cringy way of like in the race car. I just like, that's what's comfortable for me.
Is it so that you can have your
So like I sit with my legs way out, straight in front of me. They're not under me. Like my knees don't go down towards the pedals. My legs are out towards the pedals, but the steering wheel's still like here. It's in my comfort zone. Like I can drive like this, or I drive like this. I do the armrest with the one hand down here.
Like rest your elbow on with the window down.
Yeah,
like do you
with
just
the door.
assume the position?
There's actually a whole shelf there on my car, which I love. I don't like. It's meant to have your elbow
Assuming
there,
the positions in the back.
and I can just do this.
Assume the position is when you go to any car show, and as the old men roll in, they're all in that same.
Yeah, they're all doing this.
Look how cool
And if
I
you
am.
have you watched me drive the Dodge into a car show, it's this.
Are you doing?
Door, yeah,
The
arm out
same?
the door, one finger on the steering wheel, and I'm just negotiating the play in the steering box the whole way in. So I'm just kind of doing like this number with the left hand of the steering wheel to just go straight. But yeah, I love those. But yeah, it's just one of those weird Toyota goofy things that like this seating position is just kind of bad because it's a Japanese car and I'm too tall. But and so I sit really far back with my legs really out in front of me. The worst driving position ever is like the Ram ProMaster vans, those cargo vans. You drive them kind of like a forklift. Like the driving position is like forklift.
Like
the steering wheel's like down here like this. The pedals are directly under your feet.
Excellent.
Like at a 90-degree angle, knees at a 90-degree angle, pedals are there. So I'm like doing this weird contortionist thing with my feet to like and not only then it's just terrible on top of that because it's a Chrysler 200 that got like in every direction.
Still need to do Dylan's.
Oh yeah,
200.
You have to. Yeah, the guy who invented the Chrysler 200. You have to, the guy who invented the Chrysler 200. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
That reminds me.
Dylan took his base model rental spec Chrysler 200 to Carlisle Chrysler Nationals.
Is it a rental or is it a fleet?
It was a fleet spec. Sorry, it was a fleet spec car.
Below base.
He took it to Carlisle Chrysler Nationals and made a boomer board that he printed out at like Office Depot the same. And it literally it's like 2015 Chrysler 200 like 2.4 multi-air. Like it lists everything about it, but how base it is, and it's like options, tan interior, and then like 2 blank bullet points, and then like facts about the car. I invented the Chrysler 200, and it's like a picture of his persona in the corner, holding like with the car.
Yeah.
So it's just like peak.
So like
He said he didn't really nobody paid attention to it because I think the cataracts are kind of too bad for like most of the people walking around in their. They're like mobility scooters to get close enough to like see.
They're just rolling around Carlisle waiting for an invitation to press play on the recorded stories that they have in their brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. In other words, reasons to get out of the lounge chair behind the car.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always so heartbreaking.
I was at a Lambda Car Club meet years ago, and there was a guy who had this 1957 Cadillac but he dressed in drag as an old lady sitting in the lawn chair
Oh.
reading a foil-covered romance novel. And in front of the car was about 50 trophies, but for bowling, corn husking, tap dancing.
Like just everything.
Just everything.
except the
Huge
car.
collection of trophies.
That's awesome.
And when you go up and talk to him, he says, no, I'm not George. I'm George's mother. George is out looking at the cars.
So good.
John,
Yeah.
you made an interesting thing that I now need to check out because I haven't driven a Mitsubishi Mirage in a really long time.
The current gen one?
Yeah, he said the 2014 23 Mitsubishi Mirage is the first car I've driven that I can't reach the pedals with the seat all the way back. I haven't tried
This
that
is
out.
Mitsubishi's smallest
The tiny
offering.
little hatchback, John. Yeah. So the only car that I've experienced that in was an F56 generation Mini. So not the current gen, but the outgoing gen regular Cooper. My uncle had a Cooper 4-door S with a manual, and I got in it, and like just by default, I assumed I need to move the seat all the way back because he's kind of shorter than me. And I moved the seat all the way back, and I could not like push the clutch in even halfway with the seat all the way back in a Mini.
You
And
said
I
through
love
the trunk.
I love
seat?
Minis. I love Minis. I fucking love Minis. It's the only car
Whoa,
brand I'm like super
whoa.
passionate about.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did I never bring the original one?
I
And I,
don't
had
know.
that for
I have no
miss
idea.
it.
I wish I just had said something to you about it because I didn't.
I would have.
feel
I
like-
drove that thing everywhere.
Everywhere.
I broke it.
Oh, I even messaged you. I said, man,
Yeah.
I hope I
It
win
was
this.
it was that you had that car at a point where I didn't have the confidence level to like raw DM you and be like, "Can I
Really?
drive this?" Yeah,
Wait,
I just
Dude,
like
I was
Mini-
trying to
Are
offer
you
that car.
talking like real Mini or the
yeah
BMW?
early. It was an early Mini.
It was a
real
Mark
Mini.
6 Mini, 1993.
Yeah, real Mini.
So this was a JDM Mini too.
Yeah.
That it had a single point fuel injection.
Yeah.
The final one, the Mark 7, had dual point fuel injection.
Mhm.
This thing ripped. It was amazing. We
Yeah.
burned we revved it up.
You beat the shit out of that thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just ripped the clutch. The thing that
Yeah,
it
just
pulls
does
ahead.
burnouts. They're awesome.
What? How fast can you take the corner? Yes.
Yes.
Just go. But the seating
I remember
position was
watching that in your review because there was that one corner you always take in Orangeburg, like coming off like the long stretch of straight highway, and there's a turn that just goes up the hill.
Yeah.
And I watched you take it. You were just like doing 40, and you're like, huh? And just right
Right,
up the hill.
go up the hill.
like nothing.
Now, the driving position is similar to the ProMaster. It is Johnny Good posture, but the pedals are right below you,
Yeah.
and the steering wheel
Like
doesn't adjust, and
flat
the
and it's-
seat doesn't adjust. The seat adjusts with pins that you
Mm.
pull
So
out.
take the pins out.
You
grab
take the
and
seat
move
out,
around.
and then you move it back and you put the pins back in, and
Oh, I
there's your
love
seat.
it.
It's like
that.
cotter pins and a
yeah.
It'll still recline. Back at
Yeah.
wait, does it? I
I
can't
don't know.
remember.
It's like a folding chair that's bolted to the floor. So
Yeah.
like, what do you want?
Did you drive one in England?
No, I drove a Fiat 500, a bar. A
If
little
you-
bit.
Okay.
Oh, I
You
like
have
that
to
one.
drive one in England. It's going to make even more
Mm.
sense.
It's where they were meant to be
It
driven.
would exactly. If
But-
you drive like on the B roads,
Yeah.
But the only take I have on the Mitsubishi Mirage, I worked at for a long time. I was the service manager at Pep Boys, and I did like fleet
Oh,
maintenance
Kurt.
for like weird
Oh,
stuff. And so
Kurt.
one came in as a rental car. The 2014 to 23 Mitsubishi Mirage is the only car I've ever driven that feels like it needs motor mounts from the factory.
Mm.
Ooh.
That 3-cylinder cannot balance itself to
They're made of
save its
styrofoam.
life. Yeah, like you start one brand new and like the radio bezel rattles from the factory because the interior is just kind of bzzz all the time. It's super funny. It's a very
Well,
silly.
it's to emulate a Mirage.
It's a very
Mm.
silly little car. Yeah, I do. I mean, and I get. I'm not gonna bitch and moan about Mitsubishi cutting corners because that's the point. That was a car in 2014 you could buy brand new for like $7,000. That's it, which was kind of hard to come by.
Did you ever watch the Instagram channel Tappy Queen?
John says, yes, I've taken it apart again and again, trying to cut back in the rattles. You'll never find them all. Good luck. Yeah, but I love the Mini. I would love an R53 Mini.
Wow.
A friend of mine had.
We looked at minis at
I
the
know.
show together. Yeah.
oh,
A friend of mine when I was younger, the guy who sold me my first BMW and got me started down this nightmare descent that I've been on of buying BMWs ever since. He had a last year of the first generation new Mini. So the 06 bless you, 06 R53 John Cooper Works Mini.
Mhm.
And it had
damn.
like 200,000 miles on it, but
Oh.
it had a rebuilt. It had no
Alright.
paint at all,
Excellent.
but it had a rebuilt motor. It had like a bigger supercharger, like bunch of different pulleys. The pulley setup on it was so aggressive that if you didn't turn off the air conditioning before doing a pull, the AC compressor would grenade itself at like red line. He went through 2 AC compressors on that car because like if you forgot and you did a pull at like 6,500 RPM, the AC compressor was being way overspun because it's one belt
Yeah.
for everything. Supercharger, every
Okay,
accessory is
okay,
on one
okay.
belt this far away from the frame rail.
God
And
damn.
it just, if you like do an overdrive pulley on the crank and then a reduction pulley on the supercharger and run a smaller belt, you overspin every accessory.
Fantastic.
So it would just blow the AC compressor apart, which is super fun. But I mean, like, it was a blast. And it made like 200 horsepower. But
But it weighed like
at the
8 pounds.
At the same time that he owned that and I drove it a handful of times, I owned a Mazda Speed 3 with a built motor and like a big turbo and everything that made like 350-ish on ethanol. And I couldn't keep up with the Mini. And I was like, a car that's this big that makes like under 200 horsepower and makes supercharger
We talked
noises
about this last
that
time.
blow the doors off of anything
We
with
talked about
400
this with
horsepower or less.
Pal. I was like,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
a tiny.
I
Super.
love the Mini, and that's it's a weird thing that happens
Good.
with really tall people or just like large people in general. Is we love little cars. I had an NA Miata in high school.
Is
And
this Shriner
Yeah.
Envy?
My NA Miata that I had in high school, if I like driving it, if I wanted to look out over the windshield instead of through the windshield, I just like fix my posture, and I was sitting up above the glass instead of below it.
Did you ever drive the Galaxy? You would probably do that as well because this windshield doesn't come up very high.
It doesn't at all. I haven't driven the Galaxy.
Okay.
No.
Gosh, they said it'd be done Monday.
Oh,
What's
your
it in for?
rear main?
Oh,
Many leaks. Oh, I
Many
can tell.
leaks.
Art's
Many
is this
leaks.
gonna fix the thermostat problem?
No.
No, that's an
Everything?
electric fan's going to fix that.
What is it? Just running hot when you idle for too long? Or?
Yeah, I mean, even with the aluminum triple core radiator, when I was driving around Anthrocon, I still saw 220.
Yeah.
But that was just stopped
The
Pittsburgh.
Dodge in a parade will creep up there. It has an electric fan in it that is on my list of things to like verify how does this thing work, because it's wired into a temperature switch that's like supposed to make it do a thing. But we were in a parade back in like July when my mom was here. Never overheated. The temp got high. It got to the higher end of the acceptable range on the gauge that tells you fuck all about what's happening in
Yeah.
the engine.
I'm on or off.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like there's cold, fine, too hot. And
Mhm.
like this whole range
Yeah.
of fine, I'd love to know what that number is
Mhm.
because I don't. But it would sit pretty near the top end of fine. But I only heard the electric fan like kick on like one time. And then I did never
Oh,
hear it
okay.
again. And I have, as a serial BMW owner, have trust issues with cooling systems. And so part of me just kind of wants to like take out the temperature switch that's been put in it and just wire it up to a
Have
switch.
you ever just gotten the little COVID tester and just pointed it at
Mm-mm.
the coolant line and just
Mm-mm.
see what? Okay.
Nope.
Mm.
No, I never have done that. It's something I'd love to do, but I just haven't. It's not something that's happened.
So
But
here's
I just want to put that thing on a switch. So just the
Mhm.
second, because my little peanut brain,
Yeah.
the second I see anything over halfway,
yeah.
I just want to
Oh,
flick that
that's
thing
it.
on and just make
Yeah.
it come back down. I don't know what the number is. And not to stick on this topic for too long, but I saw something recently. Another thing I'd love to do is put an actual temperature gauge in it
Hell yeah.
so I can see numbers. But I found there's this cool another YouTube channel that I follow that I love. This guy is out of Oklahoma and does like mini truck stuff, which is sick. But he built a Model A that he like hot rodded, but not quite. Like it's still on, like it looks like it's still on like the wire kind of style wheels with like the skinny tires, and it's like
Love
stock
it.
height still, but it has a small block Chevy in it, like a automatic, like a floor shift automatic, and it's drivable. Like it's modern car drivable, but looks like an old Model A. Anywho, he wanted to have real gauges in it, and he found these little magnetic cable tie holders on Amazon. So it's a big ass magnet with a loop that you can just stick a cable tie through the little like loop and then wrap it around whatever. And he wrapped it around a temperature gauge, and like so this big cable tie around the temperature gauge through this hook on a magnet on the dash. So when he wants to see it, he can grab it and clunk to the bottom of the dash.
Ah.
So it's like right there in view. And then when he gets to a car show, he just grabs it and pulls it back and sticks it further back under the dash where you can't
that's
see it.
nice.
And I'm like,
Great
oh,
idea.
I love that. I was like, I need to do that. I need to do that to that car because it's like, then you don't ruin the interior. It still looks all the same.
Mhm.
But when you want to just have, here's my reading, I want to know exactly what the alternator is doing, or I want to know
Yeah.
exactly what coolant temp is. You just grab that little gauge from
Like
under the
my
dash and
DMV lights.
you
Mhm.
stick it somewhere that you need to see what's going on. And when you get to a car show, you plonk back under the dash where you can't see it. And, you know, big fan.
Art from Miller Mountain Performance said, please give us a call to discuss your Galaxy. I'd rather not pour good oil down your oil filler tube. Can we just, it was rusty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Hi, Brian. When we pulled the
What'd you
valve,
say? The cut, the strawberries.
Sure.
And the cream if there's any left. Is there any cream left?
Oh, there's plenty of cream.
Oh, good.
when we pulled the valve cover off the driver's side, we found coolant sitting on top of the cylinder head. The oil that came out before removing the oil pan wasn't milky and it didn't indicate any water coolant in it. Not sure what to make of that at the moment. We'll see what happens.
Seems cool.
And then me go back and forth a few times. And he says, update on your Galaxy. It's all back together last week. It has a new rear main gasket, oil pan gasket, valve cover gaskets. Ran it to test, still leaking oil from somewhere. Nothing visible around the valve covers or the pan. Still appears to be inside the bell housing. We suspect camshaft seal at the back of the block. We don't have a lift open at this time, so it's going to be a while. I'm like, yep, sure, whatever. Fantastic. Finally, no leaks. Turned out when we installed the rear main seal, the nail that gets that. Here you go. Here's Ford.
Yeah.
When you install the main seal, the nail that gets driven in to squeeze it.
What?
1963.
Yep.
Got bent and punctured the seal. It's a stupid design.
Correct. That's awesome.
It will be ready on Monday. We just want to heat cycle it and go over it one more time.
Killer.
One, great mechanic, but two, what the actual fuck?
That's awesome.
Ford FE block.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And to think that
When was that engine designed?
the FE, well, it's Ford Edsel.
Uh-huh.
So when the Edsel came out in 58.
Yeah, 58.
Mm-hmm.
Was this the big Edsel, the 475?
Oh, that would have been nice. No, this is the my Galaxy has the 352.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the talk about sales. The only purpose of the 352 is to sell the 390
Mm-hmm.
because all it is a shorter stroke 390. And so you could have, well, like, okay, there would be the people who came in, like the fleet vehicles or what, actually fleet vehicles would want the V8. You could get the full-size Galaxy with the straight six with the one barrel, Lord knows why.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's the 352, or for what, $100 more, you could have the 390.
Mm-hmm.
The same damn engine,
Yeah.
different connecting rods.
Right.
And then from the 390, then you get the 427 that everybody wants. But the 427, so if you got the ultimate Galaxy package, you get the 427 with the 4 on the floor
Mm-hmm.
manual, that would shred the manual. The Ford did not make a strong enough manual transmission to handle the 480 pound-feet of torque that came out of the dual quad 427. But if you had the big truck automatic, it would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
May I have some strawberries and more
Please.
cream? Thank you.
And
Pour-
when-
oh,
we're
sorry.
we're out of cream. However,
I'm good.
I can make more cream if you want more cream. We're out of cream.
Totally out of cream? There's not
Totally out of cream. There's none left.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
I should be paying attention to the chat. What are they saying, Kurt?
Someone said, "Can we just talk about the Grand Marquis, the Grandma Keith? It's the only car I like." That's.
I mean,
definitely
yeah,
good.
sure. Everybody who wants a Crown Victoria, because that's the police car, and on the upper end, even though I think that you should buy a town car, it's true that they have gas air shocks in the rear that go.
Yeah.
whereas the Grand Marquis is usually driven by the Sunday,
Yeah.
early bird special.
I feel like and maybe it's just because the abundance in which they're produced for fleet purposes, but I feel like the Panther platform is like the car of all time. It is the Dixon Ticonderoga of cars.
Yeah.
It is the Times New Roman of automobiles.
Oh.
It is the Boston pencil sharpener.
Yeah.
Okay, in the
Oh,
house, there is a wall-mounted crank pencil sharpener
Mhm.
Whoa.
in the
In the room.
I don't know. I would expect it to be in the shed or in the workshop or in the garage, but this is in the sort of crawl space that goes back to the sub panel.
What?
Just
Yeah.
a pencil sharpener?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a
Maybe they were in there a lot. Maybe they were doing work in there a lot. And they really needed
Usually there was like a pantry area or
a lot. And
Because
they really
usually-
needed.
usually there was like a pantry area or like a drawer, and that's where pencil sharpener, or it went on the stairs going downstairs. to the
Yes.
top.
Yes. Why is it there? I guess because there's exposed wood and it's easy to just
It was
screw
exposed wood, and plus which it wasn't visible. And you were probably going to write something going up or down anyway.
Huh.
Huh.
But I remember that's usually where it wound up.
Things that make you go,
Yeah, when they built that basement bar, the one of the sides of the wood paneling, well, it's done their job. There's more basement behind that wall. They just finished this section of the basement,
right.
and then it goes a little bit farther, and then there's the slab. The basement doesn't go all the way across the square footage
But
of the house.
you do have this is like a basement basin where they dug down, or is it?
Yeah, well,
It's not like full. It's not.
Yeah, it's like
I
into a
looked at this
hill.
house and it's not like a fully split level home.
no, I mean,
Is it above ground level?
It's like built into a hill.
Basement.
ish.
Yeah.
Think of a ranch. Okay, you will see it. You walk in the front door. The kitchen, you go up 4 stairs.
Right.
Yeah, it's like not a split level, but it's just like a little bit up. It's not
And
like-
then the basement's a little bit down,
Okay.
but then you turn a corner and go
And it goes
a
further down.
little bit more down, and then there's the funky bar.
Okay. That's called, or the style used to be called a high ranch.
Okay.
And the reason was,
yeah.
in other words, you could have living, dining, kitchen in like a mid-ish level. You would go down a few stairs for the rec room, down more stairs for the basement, up the stairs that would take you to that one level, and up another one, which was where the bedrooms were.
Yeah.
That was the cheapest way of maximizing space for
Ah.
builders. When I was in college, for a hot second, I was dating a girl who, I told you a hot second, whose
One
whose
of the
family
three
was,
valiant attempts you made at
yeah,
heterosexuality.
exactly. I put on the nose clips and the snorkel. That was my, I think I can, era.
You really
And I
wanted
couldn't. But her family had developed, a lot of houses in the 50s and 60s.
Mhm.
And they said that was the cheapest way you could maximize squares.
Interesting.
Also, if you had a big living room, the way that was set up, you usually got a really big wall, which was great for displaying art.
Yeah, there is a big art piece on the wall that's kind of. Did you see something funny?
No. No.
The last comment in the chat said the snorkel. You must have been hitting it right.
Oh yeah, I definitely hit the G spot.
Gotta collect them all.
Man. Gosh, I want to say her name. It's like the first. When I was really, really trying to be straight with this one
Real bird.
friend of a friend who went to the College of New Jersey.
Mhm.
And dude, when I ate her pussy, I just disassociated and thought of steakums. Yum, yum, yum. This is really good. This is awesome. I love this.
Oh, it gives
I
roast
look-
beef a new meaning.
Yes, exactly.
Fucking steakums.
So
Yeah,
That's, like,
yeah,
that's
You know, when
something I
you-
have seen once in my
When it's-
entire life.
When it's too moist for jerky.
yeah. She had one tooth that, I mean, this is a Dane Cook bit, but it's
What?
real. The one tooth that for some reason toothpaste doesn't work on it and it's yellow a little.
Okay. Just
Oh,
the
that's
one.
from braces. I just learned that today.
Really?
I have one.
Huh. So you
Yeah.
do.
And I'm
Yeah.
really pissed about it too. Because I ask my dentist every time, I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, your incisors are rounded. And when that's where your rubber bands go. And you can't get your toothbrush back there. Yeah, I'm going to have that tooth removed.
No.
Well, I'm going
Really?
to do something about it because it's
How
unacceptable.
about a veneer?
I asked about a veneer today, actually. Do you know how much a veneer is per tooth?
Uh-huh.
A lot.
It's like $3,000
Fuck
per
off.
tooth.
Fuck off.
I was like, all right.
Why do you think they sell them? Are you kidding? You know,
Is that a thing that normal people get? I thought it was just celebrities.
Well, just
I'm
Ron
derailing
White.
this. I don't want to. Sorry.
people who want to have
Half of Rudy Giuliani.
Well,
You see that? He just has veneers on the top.
Nuh-uh.
And his bottom teeth are all fucked up.
Trixie Mattel famously has veneers just on the top.
Oh
Really?
my god.
Yeah, her story was that she was on tour and her dentist, her like oral hygienist or like whoever her what's the step above dentist, like not orthodontist, but like
oral surgeons. Or
yeah, guess whatever. I don't know who the person that does her teeth came to one of her shows. And after the show was like, you were wonderful, you were so great, I loved your music, you're so funny. I think it's time to think about veneers.
Yeah, but it's
And
only
that was how
celebrities did
she
it.
pitched it to her of like, all right, well, I guess here we go. But no, I work with a guy who just got veneers because his teeth, he has like a genetic condition or whatever, and his teeth are fucked up. And so he just recently had them like yoinked and just got 2 sets of veneers. And I thought, okay, well, whatever.
Got what yoinked?
His teeth. Like what was, I mean, like
We're not talking
They
about.
don't like fully remove, but I mean, like, you know, they grind them away and they,
What?
well, you can have just a cap put on, but they do like most of the time they grind away your existing teeth.
I'm very proficient.
And
I
put-
it's just for
and
the dentist
put
this morning.
fake teeth on
Yes.
like a permanent denture.
Yes.
I thought it was just a cover on top of the
Yeah.
tooth.
It is. Some
well-
of the old-fashioned ones are, but
Yeah.
if they just smacked it on front of your teeth, you'd have like extra, like
Ah.
so they have to
Tooth.
shave part of your
Yeah,
tooth.
so they
down.
grind your teeth down.
Oh,
and
no
over them.
thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. But
Yeah.
they're expensive, but I get it.
Well, one of the Corey, to what you were saying before, my old dentist told me he had no idea who would spend the money for high-end dentistry, like reconstructive work, veneers, and so on. He said he had people who would come in Jaguars who had $1 million homes, and they would say yank them and put in dentures. He would have other people who would say, yeah, I'll do it. I'll go to the credit union and borrow $45,000. I said you never knew who was going to
Well,
say
I
yes.
didn't. I did, until I started drinking coffee, having stained teeth. I never like knew. Like I was like, I don't really care. And then like my teeth started to yellow, and I was like, oh no. And my friend was like, oh honey, like you whiten your teeth like every other American. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a thing.
Right.
So like I did it like occasionally, and it did help make them just to like counterbalance the coffee stain. But then I would look at these people on TV and I'd be like, they're playing another game. Like there's something else at play here. Like
yeah,
they're not
not doing
no,
the same shit.
no,
I'm
they're not
doing.
they're not doing poor
Yeah.
person shit like me.
They're not
Right.
doing crest strips.
Right.
Also, I
right.
have a problem here that Brian, I need you to address
Mm.
in the chat. Somebody said, "Tell me one good thing about the Honda Fit." And you and
One good thing.
one
Oh my God, we have one.
everything
one.
about the Fit is a good thing.
Ronnie has
the
one.
whole car's a good thing.
The only bad thing about the Gen 1, two bad things about the Gen 1 Fit
Gen
is that
1, yeah.
they leak around the rain gutters. And two, to get
They-
the headlights
okay.
out, you have to go through the splash guards.
Which is like normal. That's a normal car thing.
It's dumb and I hate
It's
it.
dumb,
And,
but
but
that's
so
like-
just
that's a
buy
lot
a
of
Gen
cars.
2 and it eliminates both those problems.
So we
Yeah.
And get a
I
manual
like the Gen
transmission, they
2.
shift great.
You know what's crazy too?
Mm.
I have a friend who has a auto second gen Fit
Mm-hmm.
that has the stupid flappy paddles, and he
Yep,
is
that's what we
weird.
have.
He's a little weird and a little silly guy. I love. His name is also Brian, and he
Okay.
like his career is in aerodynamics. Like
Okay.
that's what he makes. Is so he's designed all these race cars that are. He did this series called Circuit Heart, where he would buy a really base model economy car, and all he would do is just suspension and aero to make it fast.
Huh.
And that's all. That was his whole thing. So, but anyways, all that's to say that he had a daily driver Honda Fit that was completely stock, and he bought an automatic one on purpose because they are geared better for fuel economy on the highway.
Really?
And the other thing he discovered is that when you do a bunch of work to cars to make them faster using just aero, they get better gas mileage at the same time, which makes sense.
Yeah.
You're just reducing resistance of air flowing over the vehicle, so the fuel economy goes up. So he bought. But anyways, the auto second gen Fit is not a bad car. The auto transmission is fine. They shift great too. They're like not bad if you use the paddles. They're very usable. It's not like a really shitty automatic with like paddles where you like hit the downshift and it just like torque converters your way into the last gear, whatever. They're fine. But they are geared better. So if you only care about fuel economy and efficiency, buy the auto because you get better gearing.
Really? No idea.
That's what we have. Yeah.
I just got done driving a 2018 Alfa Romeo Giulia GV Euro spec. It is here on the owner's grandfather is a general in the Italian army.
Okay.
I don't know if it's here on diplomatic plates. It does not have Pennsylvania or New Jersey. It does not have U.S. registration.
That's a thing?
Yeah,
Diplomatic plates?
Absolutely. You can, if you are part of a diplomatic corps, you could bring in whatever car you want.
Why?
There's another
Why do we
thing.
have an exemption for this?
It's called international agreements.
Sweeten the deal.
Okay. The other
It's an
thing
incentive.
too, if you're traveling, or this had been the case, if you're traveling on a diplomatic passport, they don't search your luggage, and you can send
all right.
over whatever you want. The reason I know this is that my ex had a diplomatic passport when was involved with giving music concerts throughout Asia. This goes back like 40, 50 years. And he said everybody else he was with was bringing back drugs on their diplomatic passport. He said he was bringing back antiques because nobody would question the antiquity. So as a result, he wound up building a pretty interesting collection on the diplomatic passport.
Nice.
Can you go back to the Alpha?
So anyways, so Giulia,
Oh.
weird Giulia that doesn't exist in the States.
Yeah.
I love the Giulia too. It's one of those weird
I was
cars that's
so ready to hate this car.
uh-huh.
The Alfa Romeo Spider, kind of cool. Yeah, exactly. I'd rather drive just a really clean NA Miata.
Yeah.
But I got like, I kind of get this a little bit. There is no fake engine sounds coming in. The raspy and the poppiness is real. The flappy panels, even though it's an automatic, it will respond immediately. The turbos, both of them light really quick. There is some translation. It's in English, but it would say things like press button to drive.
Yeah.
And what they really mean is the trigger on the back of the gear shift. You have to pull that in, press the brake in, and then tap it forward to drive.
We could never handle that in America.
No.
Push
Americans
button,
have
start
a
car.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But yeah,
That's
like I drove when I was, after I totaled my Speed 3 and I was looking for kind of a replacement car, I went to I had a friend of a friend worked at an Alfa dealership. So, and this was in like 2019 when the first few years of the base model Giulia were like worthless. Like you could buy a 1-year-old Giulia with 7,000 miles on it for like 15 grand because they were like, all of them were dealer buybacks that had been fixed and then were like resold as certified pre-owned. And they were free. And I drove one and like just base model. I drove one. And the second I drove it, I fell in love with it because I'm like, ooh, this is what the current 3 Series should be.
We need better words to describe like Italian passion. I mean, this is a James May bit that there is an X factor to that car, and I can't quite figure it out.
Like even the 4-cylinder was like the transmission was lightning fast but smooth. It was refined. It felt good. It wasn't harsh. The suspension wasn't harsh, but it was cornered very flat. It was very stable. The steering was perfect. It had all of the feedback you wanted. It was super direct. It didn't feel like electric steering. The brakes felt great. Like just everything about it being a base model car felt great. And I was like, you cannot tell me that I need to spend 10 grand more on a 328i for an infinitely worse automobile.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how people
So
I just wish there were better colors because this one was just painted in go away gray.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the one I drove was green, dark green with the saddle brown interior and the yellow brake calipers.
There, that's good.
And I was
that's
like,
good.
color combo. This is the color combo. Green
This
over
was the one
tan.
that you could have had for 15.
Yeah, I think they wanted 17 for this one because it was a TI, so it was the sport package, so bigger brakes. And this.
If you want to change the serpentine belt in a Giulia Givi,
Yeah.
$4,000
Yep.
because you need to drain the radiator. It's in the way. Can't get to the
Yeah,
serpentine.
the whole front of the car.
Dual throttle bodies are in the way
Yeah.
of the
that's
your-
a sin.
your belt.
It's a
Yeah.
little. It's there's the Italian.
that
the
V6 is
Italian
Alright, alright,
there's
alright.
stuff in front of
The
that.
Italian comes back in later.
Yeah. Rear seats do not fold down. Screw you.
Nope, they don't. Structural rigidity. Go
Mhm.
fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I like that with the Hyundai does that with the Elantra N. Now the back seats in the Elantra N fold, but they've mounted a permanently fixed crossbar between the rear towers. You cannot move.
That's
So fold the seats down. You can look, but you can't put anything through that hole because there's a crossbar right
Come
through
on,
the
if
middle.
you need the space, you get a multiply.
That's
Mhm.
oh, the Multipla. I can't wait for you to import a Multipla
love
when
to.
John finally kills you for it. When are they legal? How much longer do we have?
Oh,
to
they
wait?
already are.
Are
Because
they?
everything in the 90s is legal.
Ooh, we're at. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
we're at like
everything-
99.
we're at peak era.
Where are we
no,
at to-
next year?
Yeah.
All 20th century is
I
legal to
know,
bring
I
in.
know.
So when
And
are
the
you
nine-
bringing in a Multipla?
I don't know. I just the one.
When will we find an importer that's unwell enough to import a Multipla for
Well,
us?
you can.
We know
import
lots
what-
of importers.
Yeah.
Just write
Tiki
them.
Bunny Imports.
Yeah, I was gonna
Support
say,
our
yeah.
local furry importer who's at MFF right now
Ooh.
with that Daihatsu
God damn it.
Ooh.
and
Oh, is the Daihatsu that was in Orwigsburg?
yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Jim,
He bought.
what are we doing?
And he also posted a video that he drove the Cappuccino through a snowstorm to get to Chicago.
It's pink.
Yeah.
It's pink.
Yeah.
I only despise the cappuccino only because in GTA, or I guess Gran Turismo, sorry, not
Yeah.
GTA.
Yeah, the
you
other-
had to do you had to make it past the cappuccino time trials to get to anything good. And I just despised that car because it sucked and you had to do so many
But-
races in it.
But the Multipla is just so wonderfully
The Multipla
ugly
is
and weird
awful.
and
Yeah.
terrific.
Yes.
Although maybe I can ease into it with that 53 Hudson Superjet.
Those are also ugly. The Multipla is really ugly. I would love to know what was happening in Italy around that era because they were designing some really, really pretty cars, and then someone at Fiat like lost a bet, and they're like, "You have to make something hideous because you ate Tony's lunch or whatever out of the fridge in the break room, so now you have to design the worst car you've ever seen."
Have you done a short on Jag yet?
Not yet.
Have we talked
Nick,
about Jag
Nick
yet?
has
It's the
addressed
scrapple
it.
of automotive
Do we
design.
have to talk about?
No,
Jag
we
right
don't
now?
have
No,
to.
I'm just.
We're
being-
talking
I'm
about
being-
cars that look.
I'm just
and
being
I was thinking,
facetious because, like,
Are we
I'm-
talking about the logo redesign or that they're all
The new
EVs now?
concept.
yes,
car.
and also the new concept.
Yeah.
The ooh.
Yeah,
What? I am out of the loop. What's the ooh? That just sounds like a drag queen
Here
from
we
North
go.
Philly.
It
Oh.
pink or blue.
Uh,
His and hers.
His and
Oh.
hers. New Jaguar
Oh.
concept
Oh,
car.
that thing. Oh,
Pull that up. May I trouble you for some of that coffee that you have right there?
hell yeah! But let me make you some fresh. because-
Really? Oh, thank you.
No, the coffee there was from this morning.
Here you go,
It's
Brian.
colder than quartz.
Yo, that thing. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
so
a
I-
Bentley kind of.
Yeah.
Now, if they made a Mary Kay Jewelers edition,
Yeah.
then that could make
So
sense.
I belong to a Facebook group that's probably the worst Facebook group I've ever been in, called the Car Gaze,
Oh,
which is as awful as it sounds. And I think like everything, like everything, every gay person's personality trait for the last few days has been talking about the new Jag thing. And so I'm like just
You're just over
a
it.
scooch tired of hearing
all
about
right,
it.
all right. No more ooh.
But I mean, like nothing even needs to be said about them. Like it's
Wait,
just
wait,
like
wait. I do have some thoughts on this. Though.
Jag.
All right.
Jag decided to just throw away everything that they've stood for as a brand, which is fair
Right.
because in a way
It had stagnated.
It had stagnated.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true because we were still driving the same cars that came out in
Well,
like the late 2000s.
Yes. Yes.
Like the
I have some opinions
people
on
can
this.
tell me
Yeah.
that the XF
Yeah.
that they sell currently is different than the XF that they introduced in 2008, and you're incorrect. They're not. They're the same car. They said that it's a new generation. They're the same. So I do get that they like just pumped out the same shit for 15 years and they tried to pull a Toyota, and it didn't work.
What do we got there, Corey?
Super fan.
Hey RCR, been a long time fan of your YouTube and love your TikToks. Hope you're having a good day.
Oh, having a great day. We'll be closing on my house at the end of this month, and on Monday I'm going to buy a 1996 Honda today, and I feel like I'm gonna beat the shit out of that car.
Good.
Because
That's what it deserves.
it feels like the most fun I've had with any car was my POW, because I didn't care if it lived or died, because it was a total whimsical purchase that is it Renee or Renee? Renee, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Renee.
I guess somebody called her. I don't know.
Her name is spelled Rena.
Yeah.
Which is
okay.
yeah. Yes.
Renee and I, just on a whim, beginning of the pandemic, drove down to Japanese Classics. They had one on clearance for $7,000. I had a POW.
Boom.
Brought it home. It was running rich.
Too bad.
Leaking power steering fluid out of its Dixie cup size power steering reservoir. Didn't give a shit. Put the foot down, fucking send it in the snow.
Yeah.
And it was a whimsical purchase, as this Honda Beat, getting for even less with a manual transmission.
Honda today.
What did I say?
Today.
Honda Beat.
Yeah.
But it has the same engine as a
Yeah.
Beat.
Yeah.
Somebody
Except-
just asked, is the today the circle headlight or rectangle? Circle.
Circle.
It's circle.
So
It's
the
the most
one to have is the
friend-shaped car.
rectangle, because I think the one with the rectangle had the Beat engine, but you could
Yeah.
also get ITBs on it. I don't think the one with the circle headlights, the sort of second gen, it's super weird because Toyota was still producing the first gen while it produced the second gen at the same time. So now I don't know if the second gen with the round headlights, you could also get ITBs on it, or if they were just a single throttle body. The great news is Veronica and Kit now have a Honda Beat that
They
they
have the
put
Beat.
back together.
Oh, good.
So anything that happens with my car, they can probably fix now.
Cool.
The
Good.
things that I know it's going to need: one, previous owner, or not the current owner, somebody, whoever had it, put in the cheapest Chinese knockoff,
It's me. Just ignore it.
the LED headlight bulbs that don't even have a high beam circuit. So they're just
That's an easy fix.
Yeah, I know.
Because what the factory headlights are probably they're just dual filament.
Yeah.
They're like dual beam.
I mean, it's probably an
By-
H4 like everything else in the 90s.
Mhm.
And even I think H4 is great. But also it's going to have the problem of the headlights pointing in the wrong direction.
Excellent.
I like driving at night, and I don't like having that dim spot. With the Sarah, I put in LED fog lights.
I remember they were bright.
Shout
Diode
out
guys,
shout out to Diode Dynamics. Hey, you want to do business again? But the problem is there are no mounting points on the front of the Today. It is smooth. We'd have to take the front bumper clip off and find
drill.
some metal
Yeah.
to attach a bracket to. Now I have some holes in the plastic clip where the front plate is supposed to go. If I can find one fog light, like rally style, and just have one fog light sitting asymmetrically off to the side, just kind of bouncing around in there, just to give me a little extra light, or I could just, forget about it.
Rooftop.
Yeah, who knows?
Rooftop
If you
now.
put like real, because as you noticed as well as probably anyone else at this point, LEDs and HIDs in reflector housings don't work because reflector housings are designed for the little chrome tip at the end of the light bulb.
Mm-hmm.
So the light shines back at the reflector and then out the
Yes.
front, which creates the beam pattern in the cutoff.
Yes.
And LEDs and HIDs don't have a provision for that.
Yeah.
So you just end up like bleh, with light all over the place.
Yeah.
So you stop vomiting light and put halogens back in it and just maybe see how good they are. Who knows? You might
Yeah.
find that they're just fine.
Just get silver stars.
Yeah.
Don't get the ultras. Just
Yeah.
get regular silvers.
Silver stars.
I mean, regular Sylvanias, that's a regular light bulb. The silver stars are the hotter ones.
Yeah.
the Silver Star Ultras are too hot; they burn out too quick,
Yeah.
and
I
they
thought so. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I've
ran them.
experienced that too.
I ran them for a while in a car for a really weird reason. Like, right, so I had HIDs in one of my BMWs that just came in it,
Mhm.
and I always kind of hated them, but I didn't have a reason to get rid of them, so I didn't. One day, one of the ballasts died, so I walked into AutoZone, and the dude at AutoZone liked my car so much he gave me his employee discount on new headlight bulbs.
Oh.
So the ZXEs, like the blue xenon charged ones, were the same price as the Silver Stars. So I was
Yeah.
like, "Fuck it, like I'll put them in. I don't care. I was going to spend this much money anyways." And I didn't have the car long enough for it to matter. For me to know if they were burnt out really quick. But yeah, I'm a fan of halogens.
I
Me and
burnt
halogens get
out
along really
both
well.
of the regular Silver Stars in my Kia. When I was here that last time, Jim, and my headlight went, that was the regular Silver Stars. Now that
Nothing
is
has
the
halogens in it?
yeah,
Wow.
Kia.
Mhm.
Now they are projector, not reflector,
Right.
which also means that they're in a smaller housing. So a hot bulb, smaller housing. You know, it didn't even last 2
And that's
years
an
with us.
H7 bulb.
Is it? Yeah, the L shape. Yeah.
Mhm.
Whereas I haven't burned them, and I hardly drive my 4Runner now.
Yeah.
So the 4Runner's probably it's probably
You're
gonna
gonna
go
sell
up
the
in cars and
4Runner?
bids because, I mean, I'm gonna need it for the move, but after that, the only real function it has is filming cars in the rain. And I talked to Nick that okay, we could just not film in the rain.
Correct. Yeah.
Or if we get caught in the rain, we're putting the DJI inside the car, and you guys can have fun looking at my defroster lines for this part of the video.
Yep.
Instead of having 4 cars. But I know the second I sell that 4Runner, I am going to miss that thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You can buy my Tacoma at some point.
Yeah.
It's basically the same.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been trying to go through YouTube to see if I can find it. There was a video of 3 todays on Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
Just full send.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a car you don't even have to lift in.
Nope.
Don't go fast enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
When
car. I'm very excited for you to get it. I also selfishly want to drive it a tiny bit.
I'm at the point with this today. If you want to borrow it,
yeah,
if you want to swap cars,
Yes.
if at some
I
point,
would love.
Yep.
I would
Yep.
love to show.
Yep.
I'm ready.
I can have a Tacoma for a little
I'm
bit,
ready.
or a
It's
PAL.
Tacoma, you know. Wait, which one do you want?
It's a funny story about that.
You know, I'm moving. I need a truck.
I know, but I'm moving
Oh, you're
Yeah.
You're gonna be
in
away.
Arizona.
You can have it in May when I'm
Your-
back from Japan and I'm
Yeah.
gagged out.
Your today, that green today that's
Mhm.
been up for sale forever. I showed that to my boss, like when it got listed, because it popped up on my marketplace, and my
Mhm.
boss is a huge Honda nut,
Mhm.
and he was like freaking out over, but he's like, I can't spend money on a car that's so useless to me, because
Mhm.
he's just like,
As opposed to the others.
yeah, well, I have to roll my eyes because it's Tony, but like he has 4 kids that he frequently has to toot around, and then just like owning it today is just kind
Yeah.
of silly for him. But he would get a kick out of that thing.
I'll
He
come
would
to your
love see it.
dealership and do the Tony Airlines move where you just have a tiny car and you just drive in circles.
Yeah. Oh man, such a silly little car. That thing could totally drive through the parts department too. We've got like
Yes.
big double doors in the parts department. It's like a straight shot all the way through.
I would love to see it.
Drive the
next to
Today
PAL.
through
Is it
the parts department.
Smaller than the
I don't
PAL?
think so
think
because
so.
I have a
Are they both the
picture of
same?
my PAL. PAL is larger than it appears.
I
The PAL
know.
is a sizable K car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a big
Well,
pretty good.
technically it's not
Technically, it's not. It's
It's
1
a
liter.
1 liter.
Oh yeah, true.
because I have that one picture of me next to a Gen 5 Supra.
Is the Today 8K?
Yeah, that's 660 cc's.
Oh my God, we have people being boomers in the chat.
What are they
My
saying?
generation was dreaming about 16 valve engines. Today's kids want to have huge tablet in the car to watch TikTok.
Oh, I hate tablets in the car.
Me too.
I want
cars with
physical
tablets.
buttons.
I'm 26 years old. I hate new cars. Anyone born after me is incorrect.
If I wanted tablets, I'd call Moses.
Nice. Yeah, I don't have any
Some
comparison
Christian
pictures
somewhere
of
mad
my
at you for
PAL
that.
on my phone.
Come on, it's us.
We'll both rendezvous.
That's true. Some
Radwood.
Christian somewhere was
What?
already mad at us
What?
earlier.
Exactly.
What's the status of Radwood?
Is there no Radwood Philly?
It's not announced. They haven't announced the year yet.
Hmm.
For
Ever since
25?
Ever since Bradley sold it to Haggerty, I feel like it's just kind of like weaning down.
I don't know.
So-
Yeah.
Is the 25 schedule's probably up by now, right?
No, that's what we're
It's
saying is that
not.
there isn't one.
RCR Brownwood.
Yes, Brownwood.
I'm gonna brown.
You should do that.
We need a venue.
That's easy.
Okay.
The
I can
soccer
think
field
of-
in Westchester.
No,
Yeah,
field is-
actually.
after I
The
have
soccer
an
field in
idea
Delco.
Yeah.
after the podcast.
Okay. So speaking of ideas, before you guys came here, I went to my landlord's brother's house, who is a researcher and professor over at Temple.
I've heard of it.
He is working on an independent project, but it does have funding for a wide spectrum breathalyzer. And
Is this a car show?
this has nothing to do with anything,
All right,
but
okay,
it's sort of what Jim and I were talking about this, and what I was introduced to him through Greg, and Greg wants me to use the network of people that I know, because his brother Steve needs to move this prototype wide spectrum breathalyzer to the next stage of funding to get the FDA something.
Sure.
Okay.
And we can talk about the device. The device is like super sensitive to the point that it detects the alcohol that's naturally elements in the
Black or
air.
anything in it?
Oh, cream, please.
Okay.
Thank you. It is not real. It's supposedly it's a breathalyzer the size of a desktop.
Does he just? Sorry, not to cut it short, but like, does he just need like 1,000 people to blow into this machine?
He needs like
It is-
40.
So just have it like when people are checking into a car show, just have him standing there and he has a sign that's like, "Will you blow this for science?"
Yeah.
And people will be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." And then
I'm
the-
going to put that on a shirt for the next furry, for the next
Putting
furry
that on a
convention.
jockstrap.
Yeah, for the next furry
yeah, blow
convention I
this
go
for
to.
science.
Yeah.
You blow this
Yeah.
for science.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that because
Mhm.
most people are pro science. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Boom, 40 people. Easy.
What we need
lined up.
is
What's in
like
it for
either
me?
Next.
well, 100. Like he has funding, and this is going to be a project. It's $100 to blow into this thing.
Wait, they get paid $100?
To blow into this thing.
Make him make it
Oh,
a donation
I do it for
to
free.
Brownwood.
Yeah, there's plenty of
To
things like
Brownwood.
Yeah.
I've blown a lot of stuff for free.
Yeah.
So
So
Now the-
someone in the
I'm
chat
fairly.
in response to Brownwood said, "Would mid 2000s be considered Obama wood or recession wood?"
well, anything after
Recession would.
07 to 010. Well, 07, 09 maybe.
Recession wood, like Jim's Camry, the 2007 Ding, the
What was it?
2007 Toyota
Thank
Camry.
you.
That was not recession. The recession hit the following year.
I understand, but that's just it's recession wood era.
Mhm.
It's just things that are.
But one of the things you and I were talking about is
What is
What
beeping?
That's
the
not
coffee
Your
maker.
coffee maker beeps at you?
Yeah.
If
It's
you don't know
delicious,
it's
thank you.
done from the
Come on,
gurgling
it's
noise.
German. It makes noises whenever there's something hot and lit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Oh,
his
Oh.
das ist gut. Ja.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Jim's German accent is horrible.
It
It's
is
lovely.
mein Scheiß.
Only my Kissinger. But,
Oh, your
Kissinger
Kissinger is
was
so much
good.
fun.
That was good.
but
That one was great.
what we were talking about earlier is what if the results of this, because of its sensitivity and so
Mhm.
forth, could be used to see early stages of other diseases? Like,
Yeah.
for instance, are there
Mm.
changes within your digestive tract if you're developing, stomach cancer?
Yeah.
Or esophageal cancer, or really, or colon cancer? And especially that because of the resistance of so many people for colonoscopy, since
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
truly a pain in the ass.
The procedure that I'm going to be trained on to be able to use this thing, because there's only two
Oh.
prototypes, they're both at its house, and they're very sensitive. You have to be careful when you pick them up, and there's some wires coming
Wow.
out, and there's a weird check valve going in. In order to, what they need is baseline data to make sure these things are calibrated. and actually-
Easy car show.
Yeah.
Oh, so they have to be sober.
They have to be sober. You have to you have to not eat anything for 3 hours, so your stomach can't be doing anything at the
There
moment.
goes.
Oh, there's
goes
a
our
lot
friends.
of other.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, I at a car show.
Mhm.
Chances of me
They've
having
all
an-
been to breakfast.
the chances of me having an empty stomach and being sober is
Yeah,
Yeah.
at a car show.
yeah. So that's the thing.
I'm kidding about the sobriety part. Don't booze cruise, kids.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't
Your
think
grandparents made it look cool, but it's not as cool as it sounds.
the procedure to get tested to test these things is okay. You come in with an empty stomach, you blow into it, it gets a number. You then take a shot of medical grade sugar syrup,
Ooh.
right? Like
That stuff tastes great.
it's
No,
no.
it's yeah, no.
He showed me the bottle that he gets that had the prescription label on it. It looked like Dimetap, and he's like, "Oh, you drink this because it's somehow special sugar."
Okay.
And then the idea is that now there's something in your stomach that it's going to convert to ethanol or it's
Oh.
that. And now we have a known quantity of a measurable thing inside you, and then we're going to see the difference. You blow into this, and now we have a known quantity of a measurable thing inside you, and then we're going to see the difference. You blow into this one, then blow into that one, and here's your $100.
Mhm.
It would be awesome if you had somebody walking around with a stack of $100 bills.
Right.
Yeah,
That's really the
you just,
the
like-
incentive.
yeah,
And hand it to somebody.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Like
Yeah.
off the
You know,
top
by
of
the way,
this
you know
stack.
who did that years ago? Al Boscov.
Pull it out
Really?
of your like
Al
bra.
Boscov once had it, or would invite the heads of nonprofits within the area of one of his store to show up before like at 8:30 in the morning, and he'd meet with them and he'd thank them for all the wonderful things they're doing, and he would give $100 bill to each one.
just as sort of like a meet and greet. Hello.
Yeah, meet and greet and thank you for doing wonderful things with your
Oh.
nonprofit.
Oh,
We pay more than
Amazing
that.
guy.
Yeah.
And I heard from one of the nonprofit heads told me that when she said to Al Boscov that she got her first pair of good shoes when his family still had the store on 9th Street in Reading, and he said he knelt down and kissed her hand.
Oh, wow. Man, that's such an I even though I never went there, unless I was sick from school, the greenery.
Mm-hmm.
To people watching, Boscov's is like an East Coast department store, and it used to have this thing.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, it's just our state?
Yeah,
It's just
believe-
Pennsylvania.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know
what
that.
happened was they overexpanded. There was a relative who he gave it away, gave control to. Overexpanded. They almost went into the toilet.
Mm.
He came back from retirement and got loans, which were paid back to get it going. And his reputation was so strong, he was able to get credit.
Mm.
And what he did is he shrank the footprint of the chain because he said, hey, this is a regional chain.
Hmm.
I know my customer. We have to have a ton of merchandise, significant discounts. And as you know, you go into one of those stores and it's 1986. It's wonderful,
It is, yeah.
including the candy department.
Bro.
Oh,
Watching, smelling the fudge
well,
going by.
so story about that. I had my sister-in-law came to visit once, and I'm entertaining her, and I take her to go to Boscov's because she's from a part of the country where the shopping is limited.
Mm.
And they had register roulette that day, which was
Mhm.
like if they pull your number or whatever, you got $100 to go shopping.
Yeah.
So we went through 2 rounds of register roulette, and I said, let me buy you some of their fudge because
Mhm.
their fudge is just out of this world.
Mhm.
So we go up and I'm buying the fudge, and the lady at the counter is flirting with me. And she said, how old do you think I am? And I said, well, I hate to guess, but 23, maybe
Mhm.
24. She said, I'm 31 years old and I
Mhm.
have 2 kids.
Hmm.
And my sister-in-law said, well, this is my youngest and I have 9 children.
Hmm.
And the lady behind the counter looked at her and said, don't you have TV?
Awesome.
It's that.
Yeah, it's that-
mid-Atlantic. Just
You need to have the comeback immediately. And that's what I feel weird about when people say move to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is too Ohio.
yeah.
They
Oh,
have that.
really?
Oh,
Yeah.
bro. Oh,
Yeah, well,
Oh.
would you ever get the line like you did with the razor?
Yeah, with the
blades?
razor blades,
Oh.
like just
Yeah.
like that stuff that comes right off of. Like it was
Yeah.
the
Boom.
second I finished the word.
Yeah.
Do you have any plastic razor
Yeah.
blades? Like he was ready to go,
yeah.
and that's the shit that I like. You get from him because he
Yeah.
says that all the time.
Mhm.
What was it that you said the other night? I don't know if I can repeat that.
Well, I
about
was,
what you said when I said I'm a measure never and cut 3 times.
Yeah.
And I said like a moil.
Right.
Yeah.
You said that's fine unless you're a moil.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, like you just. so,
Well, I was in a meeting today and somebody was talking about, like what is an emergency, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I said, like, if you're on a suicide, prevention hotline.
Yeah.
And I just said, put them on hold.
Yeah. Can you tell the story about when you had the Midwesterners come into the company and the culture just didn't mix with
The cultures did not mix for a whole variety of reasons, and in terms of professionalism, they were fantastic.
Mm.
In terms of their dedication, work absolutely terrific. But, one of the examples was what they would think is fantastic where they were. In the East Coast, it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? For
Mhm.
instance, in this
I'm going through this right now.
what happened
Oh.
is that there was a suggestion, why don't we give everybody a turkey at Thanksgiving?
I'm going to eat them.
Corey's eyebrows just went the second you said
Okay.
that. Yep.
Well,
Yep.
well, the East Coast would rather die than
Right.
Right, and so of course, everybody
I don't want
started
your gift.
laughing. And they said, well, why wouldn't they want this? And they said, this is Philadelphia. They'll say, give me the $100 and I'll buy whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can stuff the turkey.
Yeah.
That's what they used to do at my work. So Conacelli used to buy people turkeys, like full like roast turkey. They're pre-cooked
Yeah.
for the holidays. They did it for like 2 years, and then they switched to a voucher, but it's just a check.
Yeah.
So they hand you a $50 check on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving Day, and they're like, "Good luck.
We had our holiday party.
Buy
one
whatever you
year,
want."
And I won an Apple Watch. And I was like, sick. Can I have the receipt?
Yeah.
I literally returned it to
Yeah.
Target and I got like $200
Sure.
back.
Yeah.
And there was another example where, there was a question of, why can't we get everybody just to work together, which, was evidently not that big a deal in the Midwest. And, the answer is in this area, the whole ethos is, I'm going to do a good job. I'm going to work hard and just leave me the fuck alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to do my job. I'm
Yeah.
not interested in all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different way of thinking. And there are huge advantages to people being able to work together in the way that I had seen in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And there is just a completely different way of thinking out here.
Yeah. It's like that. To talk about the immediate sass back. The story Jim have that you told me. I don't know. Was it recently? Were you there? You and someone else were walking side by side on
Yeah,
the.
it's
Yeah.
just the sidewalk.
Yeah, the guy on
Yeah.
the sidewalk.
Yeah. You were walking side by side on
Yeah,
the
we're just
sidewalk.
walking, like just
This
center
is
city
downtown
now.
Philly.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
in Center City, Philly. We're just walking around, and we're walking on the sidewalk next to each other. Like I said, some dude walked up behind us with a bunch of bags. He'd just been shopping, and as he like steps down onto the street to overtake us, to pass us, and as he does, he goes, "You two motherfuckers are too wide to be walking down the middle of the sidewalk." And Jim goes, "Middle of the sidewalk, I need a whole county." And he goes, "That's good thinking." And he wasn't mad.
Yeah,
He was
no,
just
no.
stating
This
it.
was just normal.
He's
Yeah.
just saying facts.
Yeah.
He just sees the situation and he goes, "You're too wide to be walking down the sidewalk." And he's like, "It's funny. We're laughing. We're
Yeah,
having
yeah.
a good time, but you're in my way."
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and what you just said about going around, one of the things that surprised you when you moved out here was just driving around people who were waiting to make a left-hand turn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
because I come from a civilized part of the country where we have dedicated left turn lanes everywhere.
Define civilized.
So you just get in the left turn lane. You don't have to stop the flow of traffic to
That's
make a
because
turn.
you have the space and the real estate to just
Right.
expand
Well,
outward
because
forever.
the state that I was born in was consecrated like a year before this house was built.
Yeah, I
so
know.
like
I know.
they had cars then.
Yeah.
Whereas like,
Yes.
when this city was founded, the guy who founded the city beached his boat at the intersection of two rivers and was like, "I should set up camp here
Yeah.
Mhm.
Forever.
forever." Yeah,
Forever.
like forever. We'll name the state after him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I don't know. it's just
On the
different.
way here, I was it I-7? Was I on the turnpike? Shoot, no, it was Northeast Extension. On a day like today, two guys on Harleys were
Oh, my God.
slaloming in between traffic. I hear him coming. I see him coming. I'm not mad. I was in the fast lane.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
moving,
yep,
Yeah.
but I'm still going to move over toward the Jersey barrier. You guys do your thing.
Yep.
I don't give a
Yep.
shit. I'm not going
I'm
to.
not dealing with you.
I'm not going to passive aggressively move closer to you or slow down. It says, you guys, you're moving. You're not my problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, the other day I was on the Blue Route,
Uh-huh.
and that's another great thing. Everybody calls it the
Blue
Blue
Route?
There's no markings.
Nope.
If
And-
if you drive the entire length of the Blue Route, not once will you ever see a fucking sign that says the Blue Route.
Correct.
But since I moved here, people have just like pounded it into me of like, this is the Blue Route.
Conshohocken.
You know what I
Yeah.
just learned 3 days ago? I didn't know where the Boulevard was. People call me at work. I work for a Hyundai dealer.
You didn't know the Boulevard?
No, I don't know the
Oh.
How the fuck would I know the Boulevard?
Well, you should by now.
Well, it's called
Well,
the
I-
city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean-
so, but I'm at work, and like the whole time I've worked at Conocelli Hyundai in Conshohocken, people call me and confuse us for Faulkner Hyundai, which is on the Boulevard in Philly. And so people call me and they go, "Oh, is this that Hyundai dealer down on the Boulevard?" And I go, "I don't know what the Boulevard is. Like, I don't know where that is."
No, we're in Conchi.
And then they're like, on the Boulevard. I'm like, oh my God. What town is it in? They're like, Philly. And I'm like, no. I don't think I'm there.
And I'm like,
Well, and there's the Jeep dealer there with the Jeep on the roof.
Yeah, Gary Barbera. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Now I know because
Yeah.
somebody told me the name of the fucking street that it is instead of people telling me,
Well, wait
get
a-
on the Blue
wait-
Route. Tell me what fucking number the highway is,
Well, wait
and I'll
a-
know what you're talking about.
When you drive on it someday.
It sucks. I have been.
Oh, you have?
I have
The
been.
inner part, the outer part?
Yeah, my phone also did a really cool thing when I was driving up it because at some point in time it like turns back into a highway.
Yes.
And so because Google has very finite knowledge of how Philadelphia's fucked up roads work, so it knows that the entrance ramp for the highway is on the outside lanes.
oh,
It doesn't
yes.
know that the inside lanes just turn into it. So it made me get out of the inside lane onto the outside lane just to take the ramp back onto it again to get onto the highway. And I went, well, that was a fucking stupid maneuver. I look like a jackass now. Like, can you tell I'm not from here?
yeah.
Oh,
Hi,
that-
guys.
oh, that-
That's my first time
Right.
operating a motor vehicle.
So that's true of half the drivers on the
That is-
boulevard.
that is-
period.
Oh my God.
true.
You know, it's going to be creative driving. I saw a dozy do the other day where it was two people in opposite directions who were trying to make left-hand turns and two cars going around them.
Oh, so neither of them could. They were just a
Yeah,
gridlock.
no one
and then
can
I
make
was
a
on the
turn.
blue route. You know, of course, I'm going in my slow lane because that's what I do. And there was this guy poking along in the middle lane. And there was a semi who just rode right up his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, and there was plenty of room for him to pull over into the slope. And I'm thinking, how much of a hint do you need? You know,
Yeah.
do we need
They
some
don't.
room?
They don't know.
I was driving.
I do it happens to me all the time because I don't know, I guess my fatal flaw is like giving people a time of day ever, but also just like thinking that like maybe my interaction I have with this person might change their behavior moving forward, which is very very silly of me to assume
In this
that-
place?
I know.
Yeah.
But like sometimes if I'm on the highway or on the turnpike and there's somebody going slow in the left lane, like slower than they're in the right lane,
Uh-huh.
I'll kind of hang out behind him a little bit longer than I normally
Do you flash
would.
your beams?
I have a
That's-
couple times.
that's
Sometimes
the
I do it on accident. In the Mercedes, the turn signal stock's in the wrong
Oh.
place, so it's like where the cruise control should be.
Oh,
the cruise
yeah.
control's up where the turn signal should be. And the first like while that I owned it, I would try to turn off cruise control and end up flashing my high beams at people.
Oops.
Anyways, so sometimes I'll do that, but I'll sit behind people for like a mile and be like, "Are you gonna figure it out eventually?"
No.
And the answer is usually no.
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 So I get over in the right lane, and as I
No.
pass them, I look over at them, and they're like,
or they're
Yeah.
or they're
like
texting.
I
or...
rarely pass people that are texting, but it's like
Oh.
the fluoride stare,
Oh,
Yeah.
like mouth kind of open, like sort of too close to the steering wheel, like
Yeah.
leaning over as if getting closer to the windshield will help you see better past your cataracts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're just like, And that's it. That's all. That's 100% of the
No,
processing power that they
no,
have is
nothing.
focused
Well,
on
Yes.
well,
don't crash my car.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing too is it's fairly easy. You just think, what is the stupidest dumb fuck thing you could do? Assume that's going to be the behavior, and you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I also
Yeah.
find interesting is if you drive in New York City, it's great because you know how everybody's going to drive. It's
Yeah.
going to be flat out.
Yeah.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
fuck
Get
you.
out of the way. Yeah,
Okay.
fuck you. Go fuck
you
yourself.
I'm
You
going
get-
to hit you.
You get to this area, and it's like,
The predictability goes out the window.
Yeah.
because it's going to be, are you going to accelerate? Aren't you going to accelerate? Are you going to, merge
Are
into
you
this
playing by
lane?
the rules or not?
Or not?
Are
do
you
know
going
where you
to
are?
slow down
Okay.
to 20 miles an hour on 78
Yeah.
so you can go to Lenhartsville
Right.
and slow down and then exit?
Yeah.
Right.
Not
yeah.
just use the
Yeah.
off ramp
I
to
know.
slow downs.
Okay, and the difference is when you get up to Berks or Schuylkill County, if you're on a road that's going to merge from 2 lanes to 1, you will always have some asshole driving in the center because
Yeah.
God forbid somebody would pass him.
And win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Definitely the winning. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but there's also the reckless drivers who have like abandoned for their vehicles, where like there is a clear lump divide made of concrete between this lane and that lane to deter people from like going across the median. And there are people who are like, I don't care what car I'm in,
Like,
I'm making a
I
U-turn
can
right
make it.
now.
Yeah.
And they just obliterate their the undercarriage and just now they're going the other direction. And you're like, neat.
It's called 422.
Yeah, oh, God.
Right. It's just
I
like,
love
nope.
my favorite Pennsylvania driver trope that you don't really get anywhere else is that like people, not just trucks, but people in general will see you coming, and it doesn't matter if there's 1 car behind you, 8 cars behind you, no cars behind you for several miles. They see you coming and they go, yeah, this is my chance. I should go now.
Yeah.
Like, It
Like-
doesn't.
like
I
speed up, you
don't
mean?
fucking get. No, like they'll pull out in front of you.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
I will be on a
yes,
road in
yes.
the middle of nowhere
Yes.
in Lancaster County, like Amish
Yeah,
country,
yeah.
where the only person I've
They're
seen for the last
buffering.
40 minutes
Yes.
is a buggy,
Yeah.
and there will be a gravel truck up in front of me that will see me come around the bend and go, "Yep, here's my chance. I'll never
Yeah.
be able to
Yep.
pull out
Ever again.
if I don't do it right now."
Couldn't wait.
And then at 8 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
I got stuck behind a literal molasses truck once.
yeah, I got
I'm dead serious. No Cookstown. I was like,
Oh, hell
the
yeah.
irony of this.
yeah. It happened to me on Route 30 coming home from Lancaster in the middle of construction when they were doing that whole construction out there, and it was a combine. Like full on. I was the only one on Route 30. It was like 1 in the morning. I was
Wait,
coming
I
home
do
from,
love
I was
farming
coming home
equipment
from
though.
I was coming home from Muzzy's house.
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the morning. No one else is on the road. Just me bumbling down, and this combine's like, "Yep, here we go. Time to take up every lane at 3 miles an hour." And it was going like he was knocking over every cone in the construction zone
Hell
with
yeah.
either ends of the combine because it's just he's got to move it somehow, I guess,
Yeah.
and that's the best way to do it.
Now's my
So it's just
chance.
every cone is thump, 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 and I'm behind him just like, come on. Yeah, it's astonishing. I love the way people drive here. It's crazy. Arizona's similar because I think I don't know, half of the year is full of like people that should have stopped driving a few years ago.
Yeah, the population of Arizona like doubles.
It does.
in
It
the
doubles
fall
in the
and
winter.
Yeah, me-
Through the winter. Like you.
I know, me
snowbird,
personally.
snowbird,
I'm sorry.
snowbird.
I don't own property there though, so I'm fake. I don't matter.
Snowbird. Yeah,
I'm not real.
you just have the money to rent property there
No, I
for a
don't.
while.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Well, whatever. But yeah, I hate this.
I just
the
live out of my
snowbirds
truck
The
sometimes.
snowbirds are crazy. Yeah, whatever. Doing it. Fuck it.
Truck life.
Truck life, van life, baby. Yeah, that's how I ended up with the Sequoia because I was trying to find Chris and I wanted to buy a truck so we could tow stuff with our V8
You
motor.
said it.
Yeah, my
My
truck.
truck.
And but trucks are expensive because that's what people
They
want
are.
them for. So I was like, I wonder if I could buy like an Econoline or like an Express because maybe they
And they're
have
even more.
I know, because I was like, maybe people have stopped like van lifing because that
Mhm.
was real big in the pandemic, and maybe that's died down. Nope, incorrect.
No
Mhm.
wrong.
So I was like, what's worthless Sequoia?
Hmm.
First gen Sequoia. Nobody wants them.
V8 though.
Yeah, well, they're all
Nice.
V8s, which is cool.
Yeah.
2UZ.
Yeah, and it's a pre-facelift, so like non-VVT cable throttle,
Awesome.
which is super cool. It's great. I like I hate, and like half of the reason it gets bad gas mileage is because that engine sounds so good. Like 2,000
Ooh.
RPM, you just roll into it, it's just like and it's torque, and it makes me want to cut the exhaust off like a child. Like I immediately become an infant. Give me a V8 that makes torque, and I'm like, I'm 3 years old. Like, and that's just, and then I look over and it says 11.2 mpg average. I'm like, well,
Have you towed anything with it?
yeah,
Like, have you
all the time.
actually?
Yeah.
Do you have a trailer or do you do the U-Haul?
I
thing?
U-Haul.
You
Yeah,
U-Haul,
I
okay.
U-Haul.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now with the amount of times annually that we tow with it, that Chris and I tow
It's
somewhere
not
home
worth
with it,
Yeah.
it's like still it will take like 12 years to be more expensive than just buying a car hauler trailer.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, U-Haul trailer works great, and they're like foolproof and idiot proof, and there's no like,
I've heard. Yeah.
where do I strap the car down? It's like you have one option, you strap it down there. If it sucks, it sucks. Eat shit, deal with it. It's $55. Like they're so cheap.
Nothing.
They're cheap. It's
Oh.
$55. It would take me a decade to like be worth buying a car trailer. But my green BMW came home on that. Chris's Mercedes came home on that. Chris's mother's Jag came home. Like her Jag came home on that.
How's that doing?
Well, anyways, yeah. So Chris actually got it to pass inspection. He it like would not clear any of the monitors, the OBD2. So he like read online in the shop manual, because like most cars have all the same standards for like running evap
Yeah.
monitors and things like
Same
that. They're like, oh,
protocol.
you do, 10 minutes of 40 miles an hour constant. You like coast down to zero, this, that, and the other thing. The Jag has this like, you have to like piss directly into the wind while holding your tongue a certain way, like all of this garbage on how to get it to run.
There will always be an England.
So he did all of that shit, and he finally got it to clear through engine inspection. But it's still like, it has like, there's like 18 warnings or like error messages in the computer for the soft close trunk module.
What?
Like it just gets pissed
Ew.
about everything. The first time I
What
saw the
year is
car, it's an 04.
That's early to be throwing a
XJ8.
fit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the first time I went to look at it, because I love doing car audio, and so Chris was like, "Oh, the radio turns on, but it doesn't, like, no volume from anything, no FM, AM, CD changer, nothing works. It doesn't output sound. Can you take a look at it?" And I said, "Sure." And he opens the trunk, and I saw fiber optics running from the amp to the CD changer up to the stereo. And I closed the trunk again, and I said, "Good luck." I'm walking away,
Oh.
because I'm like, you can't diagnose fiber optics with a multimeter like
No.
I can
Well,
normally.
yeah.
Like that's how I normally diagnose. Should I go, oh, I'm getting power here? Yeah. Am I getting audio signal? Yeah. No. Like nothing. So yeah, very, very silly.
Well, folks, I think that is a good stream. Thank you to everybody who watched us have dinner and talk to the chat a little bit. You've got to witness a more casual RCR stream as opposed to traditional Instagrammers. I don't know why I went with that.
Yeah.
I guess because Instagram is treating me better than TikTok. I don't know. Instagram, I'm getting more views. TikTok weirdly pays better than Meta.
Yeah.
But
John, to answer your question, hey RCR crew, yeah, I'm not fortunate. I am on Blue Sky. You're on Blue Sky. You have a Blue Sky account.
Oh yeah, I'm just doing furry, porn, everything,
I have a Blue Sky
all at the
account.
same time.
Yeah, my Blue Sky account is all furry. I also don't have an AD like Blue Sky account, so it's just like I like porn on it. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like it is what it is.
Blue Sky now feels like Twitter in 2010.
Yeah, which
it's
love.
like no one's gonna see this. It's on Twitter.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's
Who
Blue
gives a
Sky. I'm not making any money on this. I'm actually having fun being
Right,
online
you're just
with
like
Blue
being
Sky.
you.
Oh, super chat come in.
Big
What do we got,
super chat.
Corey?
As a New Yorker, I agree. It's either 155 or 45 in the left lane, 65, 75 in middle, 50 in the right, 30 on-off ramps.
Mhm.
Often getting in a pileup due to a Tesla cutting 4 lanes from the HH to 87, 287 to Middletown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
that's accurate.
Oh, thank you for that super chat.
Mhm.
Oh, excuse me. coffee.
And then there's
start
the
with
belt.
Yeah, oh yeah. I enjoyed the belt. I recently drove to Long Island to pick up a set of wheels for Chris's mother's Jag
Mm-hmm.
because the
What
wheels.
a quest.
So right, so the wheels that came on it. Sorry, like last tangent. They were chrome. They're not the factory wheels, but they were factory chrome. But this car was driven until 2012 when it blew a brake line, and then it got parked for 10 years, and got traded into some little pokey dealership in Jersey who replaced the brake line. Tried to sell it to Mannheim. Mannheim didn't even want it, so Chris bought it. He works for Mannheim, etc. Really, really cheap car. Anyways, so the wheels are so corroded that the chrome was peeling. And so I went on this weird thing that I do because I'm bored at work all day. So I just I just do things for other people. I'm like, my boss calls me like the auto butler because I just like solve other people's automotive problems while on the clock because I just have nothing
I need
else
to learn
going
how
on.
to monetize this.
So I called our wheel guy at work who does our wheels, and he said, "Oh, those are fucked. Call this guy." I called that guy. They go, "Oh, those are a little too fucked for us. Call this guy." And I called the final guy, and he's like, "Yep, not a big deal. Just I'll strip them down, chemically strip them, sand them, finish them. So like fill in because they were so corroded that the alloy wheel was starting to pit and rot away under the chrome. It was so bad." And he's like, "I'll fill them and I'll powder coat them." And I was like, "Great, how much does that run?" And he's like, between 450 to 600, depending on the amount of work. And I was like, "That seems really reasonable." And he says, "Per wheel." And I'm like, "That seems really not reasonable." Immediately. And I was like, "Well, thank you for your time. I would tell you that I will call you back, but that would be a lie. So just have a great day." And he's like, "No problem. I understand." And I'm like, "No disrespect. I know it's a ton of work, but this car is not worth that."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Great. Have an awesome day." So I found a guy in the marketplace, two people that had the factory wheels that were not chrome.
Boom.
And in great shape. Both wanted $300 for them. One guy was in the northern tip of New Jersey, like not anywhere you really need to be.
Perth
and
Amboy, like
past New York,
Like Connecticut, almost?
like
that
up
part.
that way. And so
I
I was
mean,
like,
like the beginning of 287.
yep. So I was like, I don't want to do this, and so I didn't. And he also he could not respond, and he was like, "Oh, the wheels are my work. Work is open from 11 a.m. to 12:08 p.m. every day. Meet me there." And I'm like, "Can you bring
no.
them from your work? Because I also have a job." And he says, "No." And I'm like, "Are you there Saturday?" And he goes, "No." I'm like, "Okay, well, you're useless. I understand why you haven't sold these." And the other guy in New York was in Long Island, which was like another hour further than the guy at the northern tip of New Jersey. But he was like, "Yep, I got him. I'm here whenever you show up. I'll be there." I'm like, "Great. I'm going to come up from work. I'll be there at like 9:30. I'm sorry it's late." He goes, "I don't care. I'll be here. I'll be home."
All right.
Easy transaction. But yeah, I drove the Sequoia because the Mercedes was broken all the way from here all the way up to the middle of nowhere, Long Island. That was when I hit 20 mpg. I was so happy.
Sick.
But I got gas on the turnpike and reset the trip odometer at the pump and then got back on the turnpike.
No,
So
it was gas in your car.
Oh, you're right. Somebody did put gas in my car for me, which was awesome because it was so cold outside and I didn't want to get out of the truck.
All right.
And I put 300 miles on it of just cruise control at 65, and I hit 20 mpg. Barely.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a fun little trip.
Feels
but
good.
I would do it again for Chris's mother. She's lovely.
She is.
Amelia's wonderful.
It's true. No one else though.
Thank you, folks, for watching. We're going to do probably another stream at some point. I'm probably going to do a end of the month stream, although probably not this month because it's New Year's. And I'm trying to go to New Year's Furry Ball and try to find a room somewhere. I'm at the point now. Someone said they were trying to not go and they wanted to sell their room. And I told, you're going through like 3 different people to find this. Like someone had a room.
Yeah, it's like, I know a guy who knows someone who was trying to do something about a room.
And at this point, I'll bring my air mattress. I'll sleep on the floor as long as the room is not a party room and people are going to bed at least 2 in the morning or something like that. But for the people not watching, New Year's Furry Ball is not really a convention. It's more of just a 2-day New Year's party at a hotel.
Yeah, at a hotel in Delaware?
Yeah,
Delaware.
Is it in Delaware?
It is in Delaware.
I thought
It's
it
in
was in
Newark?
Wilmington. Newark?
It's in Newark.
It is December 30th.
Thank you for saying that correctly. I hate that we have 2 Newarks.
There's
on
Newark.
Yeah.
There is Newark, New Jersey, and Newark, Delaware.
Newark.
Yeah.
They're different.
All right,
Says at
folks.
Butte, Delaware, correct.
So if anybody's at New Year's Furry Ball and and by that I mean I don't want to be in a room with 8 people.
Right.
What are you
Stay
mouthing?
at my house.
Stay at your house?
I'm like 20 minutes away,
That is an
but I'm not
idea.
there.
Oh, you won't be there?
Oh,
It is. Well,
Hang on, though,
you
because
kind of
me
get
and-
fucked up at this party, and then you go to your
maybe-
room.
all right,
I don't
all
know,
right,
because me and
yeah.
George were trying to go too, but like we keep hearing mixed things about a room working out for us.
I mean, I would love to give you a room, but we also only have
which
one
George
bed.
wants to
Yeah.
wait till A&E, right?
That is true.
Yeah.
And besides which, we could watch the giant wrench drop. if
We
the
could do
weather-
the,
Yeah.
we could do the rent.
Okay, folks.
Anyways,
I'm shutting this off.
Okay,
Thanks
good night.
everybody for watching. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Now we get to sit here and stare at the camera while you run over there and in the live stream.
I gotta watch over this, and I gotta find out and look down at the laptop.
That was fun.
Why do you need to take this to the, oh, look at that.
Got to get the editor to zoom in on that.
Yeah. Well,
Did he do it? He
bust
did
it
it.
all off.
No,
Did what? With the
the element.
His soul
Oh, the-
is
the
part of the
element got-
element for this new Tacoma.